Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto trained by igneel for chunin exams. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Sparta KUN 2555 and link in the description and support writer. Let's start the video. What gods do for fun? Realm of the gods. 3 deities were seated around a chessboard. The first deity was in a white robe that flowed smoothly as if it were made of water. Her face was bright, her eyes were light silver eyes. She had a coral hairpin holding her silver hair into a bun that allowed her to think clearly. The second deity had black hair with gold eyes set into a face that was dark in the most beautiful way. The only thing that was not beautiful was the extreme predatory look in her eyes. She was in a red form-fitting dress, with a deep V cut on the front and back coming to a point just below her ample bust on the front and her lower back. The final one was seated between the two. Her midnight black hair was straightened with a slight curl at the end, her pupilless eyes were surrounded with a light black eyeliner. Her dress was the darkest black, almost what looked like an endless void of nothingness. If one looked close enough they could almost see what looked like faces tugging ever so slightly on the fabric. "I won this game, big sister," the red deity told the white one. "I know, stop loading," the white deity told the red, pouting a little. "Enough, have both of you finished with any duties you had to attend to before we start this next match?" the dark deity asked her siblings. Both deities looked at their subordinates. One was a small woman with golden hair and light blue eyes, the other was a brute of a man covered in what looked like dark spikes. "Kami-sama, you are free for the next couple thousand years," the golden-haired woman told the white deity. "Thank you, Tenshi-chan," Kami told the woman, before nodding to the woman in black. "Yami-sama, you are also free for what looks to be about 3,000 years," the spiked man told the red deity. "That's great, Akuma-kun. Just try to keep Unmei-chan from running too wild," Yami told the man. "Tia mistress," the man replied. Both the subordinates walked out of the room. The door closed, then the room went pitch black and suddenly the chessboard lit up. The pieces that were broken or lost reformed and returned where they had started. So after Fiori was destroyed, trace amounts of magic was left that leaked into the soil and into the animals. 9 of these animals have been tormenting the world for the last couple hundred years. The humans that were left over from the disaster also absorbed magic, they now call it chakra. Before you are the pieces that you have chosen for this event. Are there any rules that you two wish to lay down before we start? The black-dressed deity asked. "If I win, you spend the next millennium at mom's house talking to her," Yami proposed to Kami. "And if I win, you have to let me dress you in what I want," Kami counter-proposed to Yami. "Now that the wagers have been set, I have one final question." The black-dressed deity paused, increasing dramatic effect. "Do either of you have to go to the bathroom?" she asked. Both of the other deities sweat-dropped at this. "Just start the game, Shinigami," both of them yelled at her. Shinigami nodded and clicked her fingers, the board turned a light brown and flared slightly. Elemental Nations, Fire Country, Kohenagakure, Underground Bunker. A large explosion caused the underground bunker to rumble. A little bit of dust fell on the people around the hospital bed, where a red-haired woman was currently pushing as hard as she could. "Damn it, just come out already," the woman screamed. "Almost here, just one more push," a platinum blonde-haired woman told the redhead. "You don't think I know?" yelled the red-headed woman as she pushed with all her strength, bending the bed frame that she had a grip on. Suddenly all the pain was gone, replaced by a whimper, then a sudden outburst of wailing. The platinum blonde woman wrapped the baby in a blue towel, handing it to the redhead. "Congratulations, Kushina, it's a boy," the platinum blonde told the redhead. "Naruto, my little Naru-kun. My Sachi, you are gonna be so strong when you grow up," Kushina told the sun-kissed blonde boy. He opened his eye upon hearing Kushina's voice, with a happy gurgle he grabbed some of her hair and chomped down on it. "Well, he has a thing for redheads, Hatsunade," Kushina asked the platinum blonde woman. "But he does," Tsunade replied, smiling gently at the baby. Feeling that he was being watched, he turned his head to the head medical ninja of the Elemental Nations. He just smiled and made a happy gurgle. "Where is Minato? And what the hell is going on up there?" Kushina asked fearfully, another explosion rocking the bunker. Naruto started to cry at the sudden violation of force. Kushina, who was about to start calming Naruto, suddenly doubled over in pain. "Ah!" Kushina screamed as a dark red chakra started to flow out of her. Tsunade grabbed Naruto away from her and flared her chakra as high as she could, signaling to Minato that something was wrong. Unfortunately for the Sannin, another had felt the signal. Out of the shadows, a man in a black jacket with a white mask showing a sad face behind the Sannin. Quickly and effectively giving a chop to the back of the neck. Swiftly grabbing the baby from the falling woman. He stood and started at the woman in the bed, who was growling at the man, the red chakra starting to form a fox-like cloak around the woman. "Release it," the man stated at Kushina. If. Me. My. Sachi. Kushina growled at the man. Shaking his head, the man flicked a kunya out and held it above the infant's body. Kushina growled more, seeing the man threaten her son pissed her off beyond measure. Release it now, or your son dies. The man told Kushina in a tight voice that held no emotion, nothing, as if void of everything. Fine. You don't know what you are asking for. Kushina told the man, lifting her shirt and forcing chakra to her stomach, a partially worn seal appeared. Kushina tapped 6 points around the seal, suddenly a huge amount of chakra shot up and into the ceiling. The girl. No offense, now I have to kill you. The man said, only to suddenly dodge a bright blue sphere that appeared out of midair. Leave my family out of this. A blonde-haired man spoke from the other side of the sad masked man. The masked man whirled around looking for the man, suddenly the object in his arms felt heavier. He looked down to see a log in his arms. He looked up towards the bed to see that the man had his son and was standing between the masked man and his wife. Kushina, are you okay? The man asked with concern in his voice. Minato, I'm sorry. He made me release the Kyuubi. Kushina told Minato. Minato nodded, he knew what he had to do. He watched the man, who just sunk into the shadow. My master will not be pleased. The man said as he faded from the room. Kushina, we have to go. You know what we have to do. Minato started. No, not that. Minato, how can we ask our son to be one? A Jinchuriki, can we not seal it back into me? Kushina begged her husband. Kushina, you fully know that we can't do that. This is the only way Kohinagakure can survive. I can't ask somebody else to sacrifice their child if I'm not even willing to risk my own. Minato finally snapped at her, tears dripping from his eyes. Kushina saw the look of fear for his son, the longing to stay with him, to be with them both in this world. Fine. I don't like this, but let's do it. Kushina told her husband. It was not lost upon Minato the way his wife had just spoke. The Yondaime Hokage started to say something, only to see that his wife held the same look he had not only moments ago. With a nod of his head, he grabbed his wife and they flashed to the front lines. Numbers of Iwa and Kumo ninja were scattered as the Kyuubi appeared and started to create havoc among the three fighting forces. Iwa and Kumo saw this as an opportunity to retreat, fleeing with their already decimated forces from the Kahona ninjas. Near the front lines, 10 miles from Kohinagakure. The sad-faced masked man pulled himself out of a tree. Only seconds later 2 more people landed next to him. One had a blank face mask on and the other had a happy face mask on. Ahaha, did she die quickly? Ha ha ha. The happy-faced man asked the sad-faced man, giggling. I didn't get a chance to kill them, that yellow-haired bastard got there too quick. The sad-faced man told the two in a sober tone. The blank face pulled out a pocket watch from his jacket and clicked it open. It looks like Kami and Yami-sama have started another game. Ahahaha, you would think they would stop after 100 of matches, hahaha. The happy man retorted through fits of laughter. Shut it, both of you. Blank man ordered as they watched the Kyuubi get sucked into a spot. Oh, pooh. I wanted to watch some more destruction. The sad man told them. We do what they have told us to do, we watch. The blank man told both of his companions. With that the three vanished. If only they had stayed for a few more seconds, they would have seen 5 balls of light slowly fall from the sky, pulsing with energy land where the Kyuubi had been sealed. Realm of the gods, Kami's side of the chessboard, right before Shinigami started the game. One of the pawns on Kami's side of the board suddenly turned into another queen. What in the 7 hells? All 3 of the goddesses said at once, only to look at each other, I didn't do that. Then who did? Once again speaking at the same time. I'm now interested. Yami said in a curious tone. Looking at the pieces as they started to move on the board. Kohinagakure, 10 years after the Kyuubi incident. The blonde 10-year-old boy with ocean blue eyes and matching whisker marks on both cheeks was currently running for his life. From what you say, a mob of drunken and angry villagers. What in the living hell did I do this time? The blonde yelled at them. You killed our families, you monster. You deserve to die, turning into a child so you could kill us one by one. One of the villagers told him in a cold tone. I haven't done anything. The blonde replied back. Suddenly being pitched forward as he was hit by a bottle to his head. Nice aim. Thanks, now let's get him. The bottle thrower told the crowd. Suddenly it was a madhouse to get to the blonde first, wailing and punching, kicking and stabbing. Finally a ninja pushed themselves to the front of the group. What would the Hokage say if he saw all of this? Huh? How would you explain this? The ninja voiced. The crowd stopped, the air starting to tremble with nervousness at what the Hokage would do to them. That's why you need to dispose of the evidence. The ninja told them, finishing the hand seals for a jutsu. Pain. Grand fireball jutsu, the ninja said before sucking up a huge amount of air and blowing out a giant fireball that hit the blonde. engulfing the poor boy, or so they thought. Seeing a burnt body, the villagers shouted in celebration at finally killing the demon, scum, monster. Soon the mob had dispersed, and Anbu arrived to take the body to the hospital, again. A few minutes after the Anbu left, a mop of blonde hair slowly pulled himself out of the shadows. Looking around, he started to head home. It was getting rather late. Geez, you would think they would have stopped using Katans on me after the first time. Naruto told nobody in particular. Well, we just can't have them destroy our host. That would be bad for all of us. A gruff masculine voice replied. I know that they are gonna feel funny when they find out they destroyed a cadaver from the morgue again. Naruto told the voice. That is a riot, but it is starting to get old, a metallic sounding voice replied this time. I know. So what am I going to be learning tomorrow? Naruto wondered. We were thinking on how to combine Dragon Slayer arts with chakra control. Even though they are slightly different. Chakra and what we had called magical arts. One of two feminine voices spoke up. Well, are we gonna have a roulette or a drawing or what? Naruto asked. We think we'll start with either metal or sky dragon slayer forms, then start from there. A husky voice confirmed with force. The other voices agreed, well, almost all of them. One wanted to teach him the fire dragon slayer form first, but he had been outvoted by the other 5. Anyways, kid hatchling. You need to get some rest. Tomorrow is gonna be a long day. All the voices said at once, more like conjoined rather than one. As the boy started to slumber, his mind wandered back to when he first met his tenants. At first it was a huge hassle to keep them all happy. Flashback, 5 years ago, Kohenekage Hospital. Geez, they dumped me in a damn sewer this time. This is disgusting. Do they know what is in this fucking stuff? Welp, I better get out of here. Naruto stated matter-of-factly. Naruto got up and started to walk and walk and walk. Damn it, when the hell is this gonna end? Naruto shouted to no one in general. He didn't expect to hear a reply from behind him. What did you say, monkey? A creepy voice asked from behind, sending shivers up Naruto's spine. Slowly turning around, he came face to face with a large door made up of bars. There was a slip of paper on it that said seal 1/6. Naruto walked up to it. Hello, who's in there? Suddenly an alarm went off in his head. Naruto jumped back as a set of claws shot forward, scratching the ground where he had been standing. This monkey has good reflexes. I've seen what those worthless villagers have treated you. I can give you the power to destroy this village, to kill, maim, tear everything from the heart of this destitute of a village. Do you wish that, well, little monkey? The voice asked. Naruto took a thinking pose, then looked at the cage with a smirk. You want my answer? Well, my answer is to go fuck yourself. Even if they destroy me, I will protect them with my life. I'll never take power to destroy my home. I would rather die than hurt this village. Naruto told the cage, flipping the cage off. Wahahaha, it's been about 30 years since a monkey had the balls to do that to me. So you pass. The voice to him with a pleased tone. What the 7 fucks was that? Naruto asked, basically yelling at the cage doors. The test. The voice replied. The test. Naruto repeated, sweat dropping a little. I needed to test you before I allowed you to meet the others. Guys, he's okay, you can come out now. The creepy voice called out, the claws withdrew and was replaced with a hand as the landscape changed from a sewer into a large plateau. With mountains running around the edges. Okay, what in the hell is going on? First we were in a sewer, now we are in the mountains. And who the hell is everyone? Naruto was cut off of his ranting by a feminine hand. We'll tell you. If you shut up. A woman replied. Naruto looked at the arm that was attached to a beautiful woman with cream-colored skin and slivery gray hair. Her eyes were a deep crimson red with a slit down the middle. She also had 2 red ears on the top of her head and 9 red tails with silver tips. The woman wore a snug-fitting red kimono with silver foxes running on them. MHMHMM. Okay. Naruto replied as she let go, taking a deep breath. The glare from this lady made him stop his rant. Now back to your first question, you are in your mindscape. Those idiotic villagers beat you into a coma again. The second question is, since it is your mindscape, you can change it how you see fit, but everyone has agreed that it would be better if it looked like this. Finally, the last answer is right behind you. The woman told him. Naruto turned around to see 5 other people standing to form a circle around him. Going on his instincts, Naruto sunk to the ground and put his hands over his head. Please don't kill me. I didn't mean to do it, I promise. Naruto started to crying, not being able to help himself. Have the villagers beaten him down this far? All the people there thought at the same time with sadness. Hey, brat. Get your ass up, we ain't gonna hurt you. A red-haired man with a red beard growled at Naruto, only to make him shrink further into himself. Igneel, you are stupid. Growling at the hatchling. A man with dark gray hair and piercing all over his face berated the now named Igneel. It's not my fault we got stuck here. Who was the one that said we should jump into the giant vortex in the sky? Huh, Metallicana. Igneel retorted. How were we supposed to know it would just send us into the future? A man with white hair replied in a calm demeanor. The white hair covered the left side of his face. Enough fighting, we are scaring the hatchling and we haven't even introduced ourselves. A man told Naruto. He looked exactly like the man with white hair, except it was black colored and on the right. It's okay now Naruto, you have a family here. I'm Grandine. The other woman with sky blue hair and a grey kimono with clouds covering it told the young blonde. She knelt down and held open her arms, like a mother waiting for their child. Naruto rushed into her arms, crying loudly. Both Grandine and the other woman gently stroked Naruto's hair, calming him down until he could sit and understand what was going on. Now, proper introductions. The firehead is Igneel, the metal face is Metallicana, the yin-yang twins are Skiadrum and Wisloja, Grandine is the nicest one here. Finally, I'm the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Stated the Kyuubi. Skiadrum and Wisloja were barely holding a pissed-off Igneel and Metallicana from jumping on Kyuubi and beating the hell out of her. Nice to meet you Nai and Ni-sans. Naruto replied with a huge smile. It's nice to meet you too hatchling. Now we need to talk to you about how you are gonna get by for the next few years. At least till you become a ninja. Igneel stated. The rest of the people nodded. What do you mean get by? Naruto asked them. Well we can't have you be in the hospital every other day, now can we? Metallicana answered with a slightly cocky smile. Okay, so how do we do that? Naruto wondered, taking a thinking pose. Did we get stuck in a moron? All the tenants thought at the same time. Wait. Ski and Ai, you're dark. So can you control like shadows and stuff? Naruto asked the dark-haired individual. Ontril, my dear little hatchling. I am shadows. The dark-haired individual stated before sinking into his own shadow and coming up behind Igneel. Igneel grabs Skiadrum and throws him into the side of a mountain. You know I hate it when you do stuff like that. Igneel states to Skiadrum. Skiadrum smiled mischievously. Anyways, my idea was what if Ski and Ai teaches me to hide myself? Naruto stated to the group. That's a great idea. They all actually looked at Naruto as if they had an alien monster from another world on their hands. Igneel walked over and squatted down to be at his level. Igneel stared with an interested focus. After a few minutes he messes up Naruto's hair. You'll be fine. Nat Naruto. Igneel started to say something else, but caught himself at the last second. The rest of the group looked at Igneel with sadness, knowing that he had loved his hatchling the most. So, what are you guys? I know the Kyuubi, but what about you guys and girl? Naruto asked bluntly. Should we tell him? Wisloja asked them. He's gonna find out sooner or later. Why not sooner? Our other hatchlings were younger than him when they found us. Skiadrum replied to his look-alike. Metallicana grabbed the twins and thumped their heads together. He then turned to Grandine and nodded. Naruto-kun, we are dragons. Grandine told him in a gentle voice. Okay. Naruto stated, now how do I get out of here? Are you not surprised at all? Don't you have any questions regarding us? Metallicana. Nope. You guys are dragons and she is the Kyuubi, somehow you all got sealed in me along with her. So again, how do I get out of here? Naruto explained as he pointed at the Kyuubi. It's your mind, shouldn't you know how? Igneel asked him in a teaching tone. Yes, no, maybe. Naruto asked. Before you go, we want you to do something for us. If we are gonna be able to teach you we need you to be able to communicate with you. To do that, you need to pull a small part of the seal off, just like a corner. We promise not to try and force anymore. Wisloja, Skiadrum hands up now. Grandine snapped at the two troublemakers. Both of them snapped to attention and held their hands up. Okay, where are your seals at? Naruto asked, knowing that he needed to do this to become stronger. Igneel held out a ring, Metallicana pointed to his piercings, both Wisloja and Skiadrum held out a wristband, and both Grandine and the Kyuubi pointed at their collars. Naruto went around to each of their items and removed a little bit off each thing. The pieces of the seals turned into a black wristband that looked like a dragon wrapping around his wrist. This is cool. Naruto said out loud. Everyone started to laugh, even though he showed increased thought process they had to remember that he was still just a child. Even if he was a little mature. Now, you need to wake up. You need to tell the old monkey everything. The Kyuubi told Naruto, then flicked his forehead. On Hokage Hospital, room 205. Ow, stupid vixen. Naruto yelled as he popped up, rubbing his forehead. Naruto, finally awake I see. I'm glad that the Anbu were able to get to you before they tried to actually destroy you. An old man in formal robes stated, here sat Sarutobi Hears in the Sandame Hokage. Yeah Gigi, was it cat this time? Or weasel? Naruto asked the Sarutobi. Actually, it was snake. She was doing her normal rounds when she spotted you. Sarutobi replied, puffing on his pipe. Ah, I see. Hey, Gigi. Why didn't you tell me that the Kyuubi was sealed in me? Naruto asked in a calm and hard tone. Sarutobi sighed, he took his pipe from his lips and set it on the table next to him. He then got up and went beside Naruto. There are many things that I am unable to tell you. Kyuubi being sealed inside of you is one of them. I promise that when you reach a certain age or you reach chunin, I will tell you everything. Sarutobi told the young blonde. Hey hatchling, don't forget us. He might not believe what you say, but it's easier to tell him about us now than to have him suffer from a heart attack later, Gradine told the blonde. So the communication works, anything Ambity wants to tell me before I explain to Gigi what the hell is going on? Naruto asked the beings in his gut. Yeah, ask the old man for what you guys call chakra weights and a scroll on the beginnings of Fuinjutsu. It might take a few years, but with time and experience, you might be able to reverse summon some of us to help you in time of duress, Kyuubi told him. Naruto nodded to himself, then started to explain to the aged Hokage what happened and what the requests were. Surprised, amazed, astonished are all understatements to what the aged Hokage had on his face when the young blonde got done talking. A look of complete flabbergast was on his face as he found out that not only were dragons real and not legendary, but 5 of them were sealed into this boy and they wanted to teach him their art forms. Okay, let's see what your elemental affinities so that I can get you the proper scrolls to learn from. Sarutobi already had a list out and was writing down what Naruto would need. He then gave Naruto a sheet of paper. Channel your chakra into this and we'll see what you can start with. Sarutobi explained. Naruto nodded and started to channel chakra into the paper. The paper was sliced twice to make 4 pieces, one piece burnt up rather quickly, the second piece turned grey and crumbled, the third piece grew lighter until it was almost too bright to see, the final piece turned oily black and seemed almost weightless. So as we can see. You have wind, fire, what looks like earth and 2 elements that I haven't seen before. I'll have to see what these are, I'll see what I can get you. Sarutobi explained to the young blonde. Those are probably shadow and light. Naruto told the aged man. If I think correctly, I should be able to bend shadows and lights to hide my appearance or others. That should be the basics anyways. Oh, well then I'll have to see if one of the more energetic Naras could help you with the shadow. The light on the other hand, that's going to be more complicated. I mean no one has had a chakra like this in over thousands of years. Sarutobi told the young boy, thinking. I'll have everything sent to your apartment and we'll talk to a Nara in a few days. Sarutobi told the boy. But for now, let's get you some food. Ramen sound good. Hell yeah. Naruto exclaimed as he jumped out of the hospital bed and got dressed. Present, Naruto's apartment. Naruto yawned loudly while he pulled his night clothes on. They consisted of a pair of black bottoms and dark blue top with a fox on it and to finish it off a dragon knight hat. Night night and me sans. I'll see you tomorrow. Naruto told his family as he fell asleep, dreaming of ramen and training. Good night, kid hatchling. The group replied. Knowing that they needed to prepare him for the future. The mask looks like the sad mask from the theater symbol or from the play Divine Comedy. Same with the happy mask. Academy years PRT. 1. An 11-year-old Naruto stood in front of the Ninja Academy gates, looking at all the smiling children and wondering if he should even go in. He had never been really good at making friends, of course it never helped that the families would keep their children away or encourage them to bully him. Naruto, are you going in? An aged voice asked him. Naruto looked up next to him and saw the aged Hokage was next to him. Naruto sighed and stared back onto the schoolyard. I don't know if I should. I mean, what if no one likes me? Naruto wondered in a worried tone. One that the Hokage had heard many times before. If it helps, Shikamaru has joined the academy this year also. Sarutobi told the blonde. Naruto nodded, for the past couple of years the Naras have been teaching Naruto the basics on shadow bending. More than once, Naruto trained with the young Nara. Though the Nara would have rather watched clouds than train. Many times they played shogi or chess. Unfortunately for the preteen, he had not been able to beat the Nara yet. Naruto saw the young shadow wielder with his friend Choji Akimichi, a larger boy with 2 red swirls on his cheeks that was almost always eating on a bag of chips. He was fiercely loyal to Shikamaru. Both him and Naruto had an eating competition every Thursday, switching between Ichiraku Ramen and one of the barbecue joints the Akimichi clan owns. So far it was 56-55 in Naruto's favor. Naruto waved at the 2 clan heirs as he walked into the schoolyard. They waved back before they went back to watching the clouds and eating. Naruto took in the other children, most of them from the civilian clans, with some ninja clan heirs thrown in. As he sat beside the Nara, he observed the children that were running around. Who do you think we have for a sensei? Naruto asked the pineapple-haired preteen. I'm guessing Iruka sensei. He was just recently placed here, so we might be his first class. Shikamaru commented. I think you are right, wanna see how good he is? Naruto inquired. Sure. Why not? Might be interesting. Shikamaru answered in a bored tone. How should we do it? Plan Alpha Zeta or Beta Gamma? Naruto asked. Both of those have too many harmful possibilities. How about Charlie Echo? Shikamaru replied after a moment of thinking. That takes too long to set up. Naruto whined. We got about 10 minutes before class starts. I've seen you set Charlie Echo in less than 4. Shikamaru told him. True. Welp, let me get to work. Naruto stated before he got up and walked to the classroom 1A. A few minutes later the class wandered into the classroom, which looked perfectly normal to the untrained eye. Many of the children sat down and started talking amongst themselves, not knowing the wonder that was going to enter their days in just a few minutes. Good morning class, my name is Iruka Yamino. I'll be your chunin teacher for the next 4 years. I'll start by doing roll call, then we'll start on the history of the shinobi world. Iruka stated as he walked in and introduced himself. Suddenly there was a large poof of smoke as soon as he reached the podium. After the smoke cleared you can find an upside-down Iruka hanging from the ceiling with orange and black paint on his uniform. A note was placed on him for all to read. You have just been pranked by Naruto Uzumaki, the note read. Which one of you is Naruto? Iruka asked, very calmly. A blonde boy stood up and waved his hand from the back. I am, it's good to see that you fell for it sensei. Naruto told him smiling broadly. Well, it's very good. Now, let me down from here. Iruka yelled as his head grew. Iruka went cut the ninja wire with a kunya. No, don't do that Iruka-sensei. I've combined Charlie Echo with Bravo Zeta. Naruto told the chunin in a worried tone. Iruka looked at him with a what are you talking about look before he cut the ninja wire. As Iruka dropped, some kunai and shuriken shot from the back of the room, aiming at the now crouched Iruka. Seeing the deadly ninja tools flying towards him, he used a kawarimi jutsu to switch himself with one of the books in the back. Panting slightly, Iruka got up and walked over to Naruto. Holding a rather thick book, he looked down at Naruto. Charlie Echo with Bravo Zeta. Interesting combo. Just how did you pull this off? Iruka asked the preteen. The teachers need to get here earlier. That's all I'm gonna say. Naruto told him, suddenly found himself with his head on the desk. A large knot forming on his head from where Iruka hit Naruto with the book. Now that this is over. I'll start again. Iruka stated, starting with roll call then the lesson. Hatchling, you should have thought about that before you did it. Sometimes you are too irrational igneel told Naruto through the mental link. Doesn't mean I can't find out how good people are. I give Iruka a 4 Naruto replied. I would have given him a 5 if he had dodged all the weapons Metallicana popped off. I would have used some flash bombs or something to blind him before letting the second trap sprung was Loja commented. I didn't want to blind everybody. Just make them laugh Naruto snapped at them. Naruto, Iruka is waiting on you to answer a question. The answer is the Senju clan Grandine quickly informed the blonde. Naruto, who was one of the nomadic ninja clans that helped form and set the rules of Konohakage. Iruka asked the blonde as he was pulled out of his mental conversation with his Nai and Mi-sans. One of the nomadic ninja clans that helped form and set the rules for Konohakage would be the Senju clan. Naruto informed the chunin. Good job, I would seem you actually do pay attention. Iruka told him with a smile. Doesn't help when you have one 5,000-year-old demon and 5 25,000-year-old dragons Skiadrum commented with a smirk. What in the world are we learning anyways? Is this a new form of torture? Igneel asked. Noticing that half the class was already asleep. Finally after what seemed like a lifetime, the torta teaching was finished and all the kids braked for lunch. Naruto went over to a tree and sat down, pulling out a scroll he unsealed a bowl of fresh spinach with walnuts and raisins. With this spring salad was a strawberry vinaigrette. Salad for lunch, yuck. We need meat. Igneel shouted. You guys get meat the rest of the meals other than the twice-a-month ramen eating competition that Naruto has with Joji. So stuff it before I take that salad and shove it where the sun don't shine, Kyuubi explained to the meat-craving dragon. Oh, Ignition. Kyuubi is right. I need to start eating more than meat and ramen. It's better if I start now Naruto told Igneel. Fine. By the way, did you notice that little girl being picked on Grandine mentioned? Naruto set his salad off to the side and looked up seeing a blue-haired girl being picked on by 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. One of them being almost double the poor girl's size, this girl had pushed the girl down and was kicking dirt on her. Naruto growled gently, clenching his fist so hard that his knuckles started to turn white. The poor brunette was crying. The bullies had started to pick on her because of her eyes and her clan. You know I'm surprised anyone would want to be around you. Your clan is a bunch of spying freaks with those weirdo eyes. One of the girls teased the brunette. The poor girl was about to run away when she heard a heavy thud in front of her. A blonde-haired boy was standing in front of her with a grimace on his face. It's not nice to pick on people just cause you think they look weird. What if I told you you look like a gorilla cause you are bigger than everyone? The boy retorted to the girl. You can't say that to me. I'm a girl and you are a boy. The girl replied. Oh, you can do it to another girl, but since I'm a boy, I can't tease back. The boy asked. Urda-kun, he's being mean to me. Are you gonna just let him say stuff like that to me? The girl asked the larger boy. Nobody talks to my Nissan like that and expects to not get beat up. Urda told the small blonde as he threw a fist at him. There was a loud smack of flesh hitting something metallic. Urda pulled his fist back and started to pucker up. Aya. Urda cried, my hand, you broke my hand. His fingers were bent in weird angles and blood was starting to flow from his knuckles. I didn't do anything, you did that yourself. The boy explained, it's not my fault that I have better bone structure than you do. We're telling Iruka-sensei. Come on guys. The gorilla girl told the blonde. The blonde huffed before he turned around and held out a hand to the brunette. The young girl gently took his hand and was pulled up gently. A Haim should never be dirty. A Haim's knight should always make sure she is taken care of. The blonde boy told her as he gently brushed off her outfit. May I ask what your name is Haim? The blonde asked. Hinata, Hyuga. The young heiress stuttered out. Hina Haim, a beautiful name. The blonde replied. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, come here right now. Iruka yelled out. Naruto sighed as he saw that two out of the trio of bullies were behind Iruka, making faces at Naruto. Naruto nodded and started to walk towards them, his skin starting to give off a slightly grayish hue. Suddenly Hinata grabbed his hand and started walking with him. Naruto looked at the blue-haired heiress, seeing her blush ever so slightly. Naruto nodded as his heartbeat started to slow down and his adrenaline started to cut back. Now, Naruto. I would like you to explain how you broke Urda-kun's hand. Iruka asked sternly. Like I told them. It's not nice to pick on people that are smaller than you or what you would consider a freak. In my own opinion think that Hinata-chan is a lot prettier than the gorilla her cohort. When I told them that, Urda went to hit me and broke his hand. Naruto explained, Hinata nodding her head as the blonde was explaining. Iruka turned to the two bully with a stern look on his face. Well girls, is this true? Were you bullying Hinata-chan? No Iruka-sensei, Naruto is lying. Hinata fell and we were helping her up. The bigger girl told him. I never said anything about Hinata being on the ground. Now did I, Naruto stated, making sure that they knew they had been caught. Both girls got a wide deer in headlights look, knowing that they had been caught. Iruka slowly tapped his foot as he listened to the reasoning. Girls, I think that both your parents and Urda's parents talked to me after school. Iruka told them. Then he turned to Naruto, Naruto, the Hokage will be here after school to talk with me also. So please stay after class. Hi Iruka-sensei. Naruto grumbled out. Knowing that if he even skipped the after-school talk, the Hokage would double the weight he had on now. Why should the hatchling stay behind when it was those bullies' fault? Skiadrum asked. Skian-ai, it's fine. It's probably due to me using Met-nai's teachings. I did it unconsciously, my face hardened in the spot that Urda's fist hit me, Naruto explained to Skiadrum. What? That's stupid. It's not your fault that he was a meathead, was Loja complained. We'll just let it go. One of the ninja's rule is to look underneath igneel told them all. Naruto nodded both at Iruka and to himself, now if you'll excuse me, I need to get back to my lunch before anything happens to it. Naruto explained before bowing and walking back to his salad. Which a tallish thin boy with a high-collared coat and sunglasses on was standing next to. Naruto, being weary of what could turn into a new problem, walked over and sat down, continuing to eat his salad. Is that strawberry? The boy asked. Yes it is. Would you like some? Naruto asked him. Yes, my bugs found the scent interesting. The boy explained as a Kakechu bug crawled onto his finger. Ah. Here you can have some. By the way, I'm Naruto. Naruto offered as he set a sake saucer of the vinaigrette down next to the boy. Shino. The boy replied as he sat down and let his insects enjoy the sweet and tangy vinaigrette. Shino, this is Hinata. Naruto motioned to the brunette next to him. Shino looked at Hinata with an emotionless face before nodding at her. Hinata blushed slightly and hid beside Naruto as he had introduced her. After lunch the class had the Beijing Taijutsu training. To show the basics of the academy-style Taijutsu. Now we'll have a one-on-one Taijutsu match. Let's start with Kiba Inuzuka versus Naruto Uzumaki. Iruka stated, looking at the list. Naruto stood up and faced across from his opponent, a wild-looking preteen with two red triangles on his cheeks. Well, I get to start with a shrimp. Soon I'll be top dog at this school. Kiba told the young blonde, peacocking to try and make himself seem better. The blonde just looked at the wild preteen as if he suddenly grew ears and a tail. Before nodding and got into a basic taijutsu stance. Naruto, do not use the metal dragon art or the wind dragon art, Kyuubi told him. We want you to seem like you are a weakling. Remember, a ninja's biggest weapon is to keep their true powers secret. Naruto finished, nodding at Kiba as Kiba got into his family's taijutsu form. Iruka started the match and stepped back to watch the match. Kiba rushed Naruto, trying to nail Naruto with a clothesline. Naruto ducked under the move and struck out with a high kick to try and bring down the wild child. Kiba grabbed the foot and flipped Naruto back, then advanced on the blonde to try and strike him again. Naruto landed in a crouch from Kiba flipping him. Naruto then rushed forward and attempted a gut shot. Kiba weaved around the punch, aiming a kick to Naruto's ribs. Naruto grabbed the kick and with a grunt flung Kiba toward the edge of the taijutsu ring. Kiba flipped, landing on his feet, skidding back till the balls of his feet barely touched the inside of the ring. Almost shrimp, but no dice. Kiba commented, then dropped to all fours to rush the blonde. Naruto smirked and held a wide stance, waiting for Kiba to reach him. Right as Kiba pulled back for a swing, Naruto disappeared. Or at least that's Kiba thought, only to have a sudden weight on his shoulders. Looking up, he saw Naruto was doing a handstand on his shoulders. Naruto smiled a big shit-eating grin and gripped Kiba's jacket and fell back. As soon as his feet hit the ground, he threw Kiba into the ground, getting a loud audible smack and maybe a crack from the wild boy. Kiba laid on the ground, groaning slightly. Naruto walked over and held out a hand. Kiba looked at the hand and took it, smirking slightly. Next time, Naruto, I won't go easy on you. Kiba told the blonde. Next time, I won't let you. Naruto replied with a shit-eating grin before they both walked over and sat next to Hinata and Shino. Naruto-san, your fight was interesting. Shino told the young blonde. Thank you, Shino, that was very nice of you to say. Naruto replied to the insect user's comment. Hinata just looked at Naruto nervously. Maybe I can get him to help me with my Jukin form. That last move didn't look like he could have pulled it off. Naruto, I did not know you could do something like that. Troublesome Shikamaru smirked slightly, knowing that his friend was an enigma. We tell you to not be conspicuous, and you have to do a showboat move. You're lucky that you were able to pull it off. 1 second too soon or late you would have missed it. Grandine scolded the blonde dragon container. Sorry Grand Knee, I was still a little pissed off from before. Naruto replied. We know Naruto, but now we need to be careful. We don't want any more attention than what we already have, igneel warned Naruto. Naruto nodded before going back and watching the matches. None really interesting till a black-haired with what looked like a ducktail in the back got up to fight Hinata. The boy just huffed and got into a stance that Naruto had seen a few times before. He was an Uchiha, a clan of thieves. Full of arrogant shitheads that thought of themselves on a high platform than the rest of Konohakage. The close second was the Hyuga, at least they did their own work on jutsus. The sticks up their asses were almost the same length. Naruto focused on the fight, seeing Hinata struggle with the Jukin form. He noticed that Hinata could do better with a more fluid system rather than the static version of the main form. Yes, she could use some training. That form she has is utterly useless on her. Hatchling, you are right, she could be more fluid with her motions, igneel commented. Let's talk to her after school today, Naruto replied to the fire dragon. All of the beings nodded, some while smirking ever so slightly. Hey igneel, are we gonna have another L and N thing going on? Or are we actually going to push them to get together? Metallicana asked. Igneel growled gently before he turned and punched Metallicana into one of the mountains. Shut it. Igneel told the metal dragon. Soon it came to the end of the day. As the rest of the children ran to meet their parents, 5 children stayed behind to await their punishment. Naruto, Hinata, and the 3 bullies. The Hokage and the bullies' parents went in and talked to Iruka first, then the students were called in after a few minutes. The parents looked furious and were muttering things about demons playing angels. The Hokage and Iruka stopped the muttering with a few glares. Iruka asked Naruto and Hinata to explain what happened. Hinata started, explaining that she had been looking for a place to eat her lunch when the bullies came up and started to pick on her. They had pushed her onto the ground and started to tease her because of her eyes. Naruto then picked up as he saw Hinata was getting nervous and started to hide behind him. Naruto explained that he went and defended Hinata and was struck by Urta, who then had a broken hand. Iruka looked at the parents as they listened to the story. They seemed unconcerned about Hinata. It wasn't until Naruto got the point in the story that Urta hit him that an expression was shown on their faces. One of anger and rage, directed at the young blonde for hurting Urta. They were about to say something, but were denied as the Hokage stood. I'm sorry, I should have warned Iruka-san of Naruto's condition. You see, Naruto not only has heightened healing, but also has denser bones. So it is only natural that when Urta hit Naruto his hand broke. I will pay for all medical, and Naruto is going to apologize for forcing Urta-san into striking him. Sarutobi told the parents, motioning for Naruto to step forward. Naruto started to step forward, only to be held back by Hinata. No, it wasn't Naruto's fault. They started it, they need to be punished. Hinata forcefully told the Hokage. My dear Hinata, how would we do that? Knowing that this cycle will continue if we punish them. Naruto. Sarutobi looked at the boy. Naruto nodded, turning to the parents of the bullies he bowed. I'm sorry for pushing Urta to hit me. I will not do it again. The parents looked amazed at this 11-year-old apologizing for nothing. Suddenly Urta's father smacked the back of Urta's head. Oh, what the Urta started. You will apologize to Miss Hyuga and Mr. Uzumaki, now. Urta's father told the boy. I'm so Urta mumbled. Louder, or you will get a worse punishment. His father ordered. Geez, I'm sorry. Urta told Naruto and Hinata. Now, this will not happen again. Understood. Urta's father told him. Yes, sir. Urta responded. Urta's father nodded and went to the door. He motioned for Urta to follow him, the others followed. Sarutobi smiled as he watched them leave. Before he turned to Naruto, frowning. Naruto, did you use that unintentionally? Sarutobi asked. Naruto nodded looking down, gripping his fist tightly. Sarutobi knelt down and placed his hand on the boy's shoulder. He then placed his other hand on the boy's head. Naruto looked up and saw a serious look on Sarutobi's face. It's alright this time, but you need to learn to control your emotions. You cannot wear your heart on your sleeve. Sarutobi explained. Kia. Naruto replied. Sarutobi smiled, getting up he looked over to the young Hyuga. Now I believe that Miss Hyuga needs to be escorted home. Sarutobi told the young blonde. Yes, sir. Naruto replied happily, come on Hinata-chan. Naruto grabbed Hinata's hand and started walking out of the academy and towards the Hyuga compound. With Haruka and Sarutobi. How did you know Naruto would apologize to them? Haruka asked the aged Hokage. Because he knows the hurt of being acknowledged and being a demon, do demons apologize? Hokage answered Haruka's question with another. I guess you're right Hokage-sama. A demon would not have apologized. Haruka answered. The Hokage chuckled gently as he watched the two pre-teens walk out the academy gates. With Naruto and Hinata, 10 minutes later, outside the Hyuga compound. Well Hinata, we got you home safe and sound. If you need to be protected anymore just yell for me. I'll always come running. Naruto smiled gently at the young heiress. Hia. Hinata stuttered out. Two Hyuga guards just stood there watching the touching moment until they heard a coughing sound come from behind them. The Ashi Hyuga stood in the gateway leading to the compound with a stern look on his face and his arms crossed. Hinata seemed to freeze at the shadowing of her father. She lowered her head before she started to go into the compound. Unknown to her, Naruto was walking with her. The Ashi-sama, I apologize for Miss Hinata's tardiness. It was my fault that she is late, something happened at school which could not be avoided. Naruto apologized to the head of the Hyuga family. This is fine. I hope that this does not happen again. Hiashi replied, nodding in an understanding tone. Father. Can Naruto stay for dinner? Hinata asked quietly, but without a stutter. I see no problem in this. Naruto, would you like to train and stay for dinner? Hiashi asked in an authoritative tone. Thank you for the offer, unfortunately I must decline as I have no other clothes with me. Naruto spoke in a respectful tone. Nonsense, I'm sure some of Niji's old clothing will fit just fine. Hiashi insisted, it wasn't every day that he saw a person that got his daughter over her meekness. Turning to Hinata, he stood straight and slightly over her. Hinata, show him to the training area and change into your training outfit. Hiashi told his daughter. Hinata replied, her head down ever so slightly. She led Naruto to the main family's training area where an already panting 6-year-old girl was. The poor girl was out of breath and gasping hard. Hanabi. You have a 5-minute break, then it's back to training. A voice behind Naruto told the young girl. Tusan. Hanabi replied, she then sat down and started to sip on the water that was next to her. Hiashi stepped down into the training area, turning to Naruto he motioned for him to enter the area. Naruto removed his sandals and stepped onto the ground. A few moments later, the young blonde and the head of the Hyuga were standing across from one another. Naruto Uzumaki, I Hiashi Hyuga would like to have a friendly spar. You may use what you wish to attack me, I will use the Jukin style that we Hyuga use. Hiashi explained to the blonde. Naruto nodded before slipping into the dragon form. His right hand out in a clawed position and his left down at an angle. Hiashi raised an eyebrow, never having seen that form before. Hatchling, he is way stronger than what he seems. You must defend only if you have to try to use minimum use of the metal dragon form Metallanaka told him. Naruto nodded, not only to inform his challenger that he was ready and inform Metal Nai that he would try to keep the MD form to a minimum use. Hiashi and Naruto stared into each other's eyes. The tension in the training area so thick you could cut it with a kunai. A gentle breeze blew through the area, rustling the single tree that was there. One leaf was dislodged from the tree and slowly floated to the ground. Both the fighters closed their eyes as the leaf became dislodged. When the leaf hit the ground, both sets of eyes snapped open, and the fight began. Hiashi rushed forward and snapped some quick hits to Naruto's arms. Even with his Byakugan shut off, Hiashi knew he hit the Tenketsu in his arms. Naruto slowly rubs his arms after picking himself up from the hit. "Meme, Hiashi-sama. You didn't have to go that far." Naruto ribbed the elder Hyuga. Naruto then started to channel chakra into his arms, slowly cloaking his hands in his wind element. Hiashi was shocked nonetheless to see not only was Naruto still able to use chakra, he was pushing wind chakra out. The boy looked at the Hyuga's face and nodded. Hiashi smirked and activated his Byakugan, seeing that it was pure wind chakra being pushed out of his hands and some on his feet. To give himself more agility, Hiashi wondered. Again Hiashi rushed forward, snapping at Naruto's Tenketsus in his arms. Only to see that they once again did not close. Frowning slightly, he hit them again. Yet again, they did not close. Though he did see that when he went to hit the Tenketsus, there seemed to be a small amount of chakra that covered them, almost like an invisible plating. After about 10 minutes of sparring, Hiashi stopped and nodded to Naruto, who at this point was starting to perspire across the top of his forehead. "I see that you have a unique ability, Naruto," Hiashi commented as he went to the edge of the training area. "I have no idea what you mean, Hyuga-sama." Naruto defended himself. "Oh, so you didn't have chakra covering your Tenketsu when I struck your arms. May I see them?" Hiashi asked, more curious by the second. For Naruto, alarm bells were going off in his head. The same alarm bells that had saved him many times before. Naruto looked towards the way Hinata went after he was shown the training area. "Hiashi-sama, you must excuse me. I must check on Miss Hinata, I have a feeling that she is taking too long." Naruto excused himself, walking towards the back room. Noticing that one of the branch members was moving a bit too swiftly, almost as if they did not want to get caught. "Hold it, where is Hinata?" Naruto asked. The branch member rushed away. Naruto pushed wind chakra into his feet and persisted the branch member. The branch member rushed out of the compound and headed toward the western gate, with Naruto swiftly on his heels. Naruto caught up to the branch member right before they got to the gate. He pushed wind chakra into his hand and brushed the Achilles tendon on the left leg. The branch member tumbled as if they had suddenly fell over a log. More of the branch members landed next to their downed Hyuga. "I'll ask again, what happened to Hinata?" Naruto asked in a slightly rough voice. Unbeknownst to Naruto, his eyes had started to turn into slits. "The Hyuga Council." The branch member started. "What about them?" Naruto demanded, giving a look of complete seriousness. "They forced me to attack Mistress Hinata. They wanted it to look like she had an accident." The branch member spilt, seeing that this child had not just kept up with them, but also inflicted damage that had crippled them, all without losing his breath. "Where is she?" Naruto asked, grabbing the Hyuga and lifting them up. "Ah, her bedroom, main complex." The branch member gasped out, the killing intent suffocating them. Just like that, Naruto was off again, this time returning back to the Hyuga complex. The guards positioned at the front of the complex saw a blonde dot 1 second, then the next it felt as if someone had used an air-anked futon on them. Naruto threw open the door that was marked as Hinata's to see the young heiress on the ground. Naruto rushed to her side to see that she was barely breathing. "Naruto, use the healing jutsu that I taught you. It might be the only chance she has," Grandine told him. Naruto nodded and went through the hand seals for the jutsu. While he was going through the seals, Hiashi and Hanabi rushed into the room. "Oni-san, what happened? What did you do?" Hanabi tried to force the young blonde from her sister. "Stop, I can save her. You have to trust me. It'll take a lot of my chakra, but it will heal all of her injuries." Naruto told them both as his eyes started to turn into slits and chakra started to flow around him. "Grand Dragon Pulse," Naruto called out, slamming his hands onto Hinata. A giant pulse shot out from his hands and Hinata almost to the edge of the compound. The pulse then receded back to the point of origin and settled over Hinata. The pair stayed like that for about 10 seconds before Naruto slumped over. As he slumped over, Hinata sat up gasping for air. "Hinata Onisan. You're okay, it worked." Naruto Onisan's jutsu worked. Hanabi excitedly proclaimed. "Jutsu, what jutsu? What happened?" Hinata asked, thoroughly confused. "All I remember coming into my bedroom and starting to get changed. Then pain and I couldn't hardly breath. The branch member I chased hit your lungs, but not as bad as it could have been." Naruto explained. "Naruto-kun. You saved me?" Hinata asked, blushing slightly. "I was just protecting a Haim." Naruto confirmed before slipping into unconsciousness. "Well, I guess dinner with Naruto is postponed," Hiashi said in a slightly happy tone, seeing that his eldest daughter who reminded him so much of his late wife was safe due to a yellow-haired knight. "Minato, your son is going to do amazing things," Hiashi thought to himself. He then steeled himself to face the Hyuga Council. knowing that before the night was out, he would have at least an inkling of wanting to massacre the council. Academy Years PRT. 1 End. Academy Years PRT. 2. It had been a few months after the attack on Hinata. The rumors had spread, and the Hyuga clan had been humbled by the backroom whispering. Hiashi saw that even in the upset of the clan that Hinata was becoming stronger and more confident in herself, thanks to a certain blonde whiskered boy. The Hyuga incident was soon covered by the Uchiha massacre. Only 3 of the Uchihas left were Sasuke and Itachi, also their mother Mikoto. Uchiha District, 8 p.m., 12 years after the Kyuubi attack. Itachi was out of the village, on an A-ranked mission. Sasuke and Mikoto were out shopping and had noticed that it was getting late as they went home to start dinner. As they entered the Uchiha district, Mikoto got a sense of dread. The district was quiet aspically around that time of the day. Normally children would be running around playing, or you could hear people making dinner, doing laundry, or honing their ninja skills. It was as if all the noise had been sucked into a void and nothing was left, and unusual silence remained. Mikoto pulled Sasuke next to her as they advanced into the district, her senses alert to the danger that was around them. As she turned a corner, her eyes caught the image of a person or people cutting down one of the final clansmen before they started to stalk up to the clan head's house. "Sasuke, I need you to do something very important. I need you to run and grab the Hokage. If you see any Anbu, send them straight here," Mikoto told the young Uchiha. Sasuke looked confused but nodded and ran off toward the edge of the district toward the Hokage tower. The blonde boy was yawning, coming back from one of the training grounds. There was a large claw mark on the back of his shirt, a leg of his pants had been torn to shreds, and an arm of his shirt had been clawed off. "Geez, you would think that after about 5 years of training there, the wildlife would leave me alone. Nope, gotta try to pick on me every time I go there," Naruto complained to his tenants. "Well, they only smell dragons and fox scent on you. They want to prove their superiority to you. Those fucking tigers though, that last one almost got your ass," Igneel commented, snickering. "Thanks to all the training that you guys have put me through, I'm much stronger than where I need to be. Hey, do you guys smell that? It smells like Naruto started. Like blood. It's coming from the Uchiha district. Hatchling, be careful, you just finished training," Grandine told the boy in a cautionary tone. "I'll be fine, Grand Neeson. I'll just take a quick peek, and if I see someone still fighting, then I provide support. I promise," Naruto told the Wind Dragon. "I don't think he would be able to stop from fighting even if he wanted to. It's in a dragon slayer's blood to fight. Finding better and better enemies, almost like a calling," Metallicana explained, the rest nodding, knowing that their human children had been like this except for Wendy, though she was just as destructive. Naruto applied wind chakra to his feet and jumped over the wall between the Uchiha district and the rest of the village. As he landed, he quickly blended into the shadows and walked through the district. He noticed that an older Uchiha woman sent a boy that was with her, around his age, back to get help. Then the woman went to the main clan house, almost as if stalking someone or something. Following her, Naruto kept to the shadows. Watching her as she went into the house, after pulling a kunai from her sleeve, Naruto eased up against the house, almost making no noise. Suddenly a loud thud could be heard from the back of the house, as if someone got thrown hard into a wall. "Kid, help her," Kyuubi commanded. Naruto didn't need to be told as he was already springing into action. Jumping through a window, he came upon a man shadowed in a heavy cloak. The man was slicing down at the now winded Mikoto, only to be stopped mid-swing as his sword clanged against a metal arm. The man followed the arm up to a blonde child whose eyes were slitted with the edges starting to turn gold. Jumping back, the man got into a defensive stance. Not wanting to be caught, he charged forward, only to have the boy disappear and then reappear right next to where his sword slashed into the wall. You have some skill, boy. I wonder how long you can keep up," the man intised. "Well, fucker, let's see." Naruto probed back at the man. Suddenly a flash illuminated from Naruto's left hand, blinding the man for a split second. "Ah, little bastard. Where did you go? You can't hide for long, I'll find you," the man stated, sniffing the air. It took a few moments to find the scent, yet he was confused when he smelled the fox scent mixed with something he had been told of by his ancestors. "The hunt begins," the man stated in an eager predatory voice. He started stalking the blonde boy. The man only had a few minutes until the Specale forces of Kohinagakure showed up. That time frame would be more than enough for him to hunt and collect his kill from this prey. Naruto panted slightly, the strain from not only carrying Mikoto but also using the new jutsu he had been working on, the toll was starting to work on him. Setting the black-haired female down, he started to move back the way he came, then split off to one of the Uchiha's private training grounds. He knelt and waited. His wait didn't last long as the man appeared on the other side of the training ground. "I found you, my prey," the man told the young blonde, his prey. The man had never felt this effect before, he wanted to keep this hunt going. He wanted to make the hunt last longer, to feel the fear of his prey, as it knew that its last moments were to be stalked like an animal. Yep, now that we are in the open. Let's play. Naruto told him in a cold tone. He then leapt at the man with speed that surprised the man for a moment. It was only due to the instinct that the man had built up over the years that he was able to dodge. The man's cloak on the other hand was now missing, the blonde had it in a clawed grip a few feet away. Tossing the cloak away, Naruto turned back to the man. Blocking a knife that had been aimed at his eye, a large knife with about 7 inches long and about 3 inches wide from the guard tapering to a point. The blonde was taken back by the weapon. Jumping back as the man brought up another one in a reverse hold. Any help would be nice, guys. Naruto exclaimed to his family. Use metal dragon form. It'll help protect you from the blade, the only problem would be your eyes, inner ears, and around your groin area will not be protected as much. Metallicana told him, pushing his power into the blonde. Where did this man come from? He had to be hired by someone, the rest of them thought, making note of how this man was wielding his knives. The man started to rush in again, only for his mental warning bell to go off as a metal fist flew into his face. Dodging the fist, the man slashed up with his knife. The knife sliced through fabric and hit a resistance. Sparks flew off as the knife ground against something. Jumping back, he took a new look at his prey, or what had been the blonde boy. Now standing before him was a figure completely covered in a grey flesh, looking more like a monster than a human. The figure covered in what could be described as a thin metal casing, even his hair was glistening in the moonlight, throwing off a silvery hue. The figure's eyes were fully slitted and encompassed in gold with red mixed in. Interesting, let's try you out now. The man stated, his knives becoming red. Steam started to rise from the knives as the blades heated. Metal Nai, how long can I use this form? And how much heat can it take? Naruto asked the metal dragon. At the state you are right now, maybe a few minutes. Temperature-wise, maybe 1500 degrees. Metallicana informed the blonde. Judging by the color of his blades, it's around 1300 degrees. You'll be able to take the hit, but it'll hurt. Igneel chipped in. Naruto smiled, his blood started to boil. A voice other than his family sounded in his head, almost as if urging him. The calling flowed into him almost like a tidal wave was slamming into a shoreside cliff. Naruto launched himself at the man, dodging the heated metal. Clawing the man up the chest heading to his face. The man slid back, the clawed hand missing the majority of his face by a few centimeters, his nose was not as lucky as a small chunk was taken out of the tip. The man slashed up, craving a smoking cut on the arm. The wound sealed as it was cut from the heat. Ignoring the pain, Naruto jumped back, doing a few hand signs, then taking a deep breath. Hatchling, don't. You don't know if your lungs can take the force. Grandine yelled, feeling her power being pulled to the child. Naruto suddenly blew a large gust out, Dragon Slayer art, wind dragon breath. Naruto yelled as he blew. The force of the gust blew sticks and leaves into the trees behind the man, making them embed themselves into the trees. A few of the trees were uprooted and thrown back. The man was sent back a few feet due to the force of the wind. My prey is becoming more and more interesting. For giving me this entertaining show, I'll tell you my name, seeing we are short on time. Just remember it is the person that will kill you one day. My name is Naito Hinata. I will leave you with that memento on your arm, become stronger so that we can have a more interesting battle. Naito informed the blonde, turned and walked away as the blonde fell forward. Naruto tried to force himself to his knees, only to fail. His lungs felt like they were on fire, an intense burning running through them. Gasping for breath, he finally passed out from the strain of the MDF and the use of the DSA. Wind dragon breath. 3 minutes later, Uchiha training grounds. Several Anbu appeared with the Hokage, the carnage that laid before them was in short crazy. It looked as if a F3-sized tornado had went through and destroyed part of the training grounds. The point of origin was stemmed from a young boy who was unconscious on the ground, the blonde hair now having light gray and white mixing into his hair. Hokage, what a hawk-masked Anbu started. Bear, tiger. Go see if any of the Uchiha are still alive. Snake, take Naruto to the hospital. Sarutobi commanded, 2 of the Anbu disappeared. The third grabbed the young blonde and disappeared, heading towards the hospital. We need to find out who attacked us and how they got in. I want Inuyasaka here now, the cloak will have the person sent. The Hokage told Hawk. Hawk nodded and disappeared, going to fetch the trackers. Naruto, just how strong will you become? Sarutobi thought to himself as he viewed the aftermath of the short skirmish that had happened here. On Hokage Hospital, ICU, room 205. Naruto was laying in the hospital bed, replaying the fight in his head again and again. It was a day after the incident. The Hokage had come in and informed him that the man named Naito had escaped. After about 10 miles, the scent just disappeared as if there never was a man. Naruto knew better, the feeling of him being hunted still fresh in his mind. He knew that feeling all too well, due to him training in the forest of death and being hunted by its residents. Naruto looked at his arm, a bright red scar could be seen where Naito's knife had carved into his flesh. He would have to spend a few weeks getting used to the addition to his body, it wasn't anything new. There was a knock at the door, then the door opened to show a group of people that had come to visit. Kiba was the first complaining how his friend rival had been beat before he could do it. Shikamaru and Choji came in after Kiba, making a beeline to the other bed to sit on, making sure that their friend was comfortable and set food on the bedside table. Shino appeared next, nodding to Naruto, who returned the nod. Finally a nervous Hinata entered, trying to stay next to the wall, as she was still not used to large groups. I'm fine. I'll be outta here in a few days. Naruto informed them, laughing and using the mask he had been forced to wear every day to hide his true emotions. Naruto had slid his scarred arm under the sheets before they had entered. Naruto, IBB brought some healing salve. It should help with your recovery. Hinata told the blonde, handing him a jar of green salve. Thanks Haim, but you didn't have to do that. I was just in the wrong place and time. Naruto told the brunette, smiling softly and squeezed her hand. Which caused the Hyuga to blush lightly. So what happened Naruto? Kiba asked, wanting all the details. I can't tell you. Even if I wanted to, it's an A-rank secret. Naruto told the dog boy. We saw Sasuke at school, he was completely destroyed by the fact only his mother, elder brother and him are the only Uchihas left. Shikamaru told the blonde. Naruto nodded, knowing that the brain of Shikamaru was working overtime. Trying to find out what the blonde was hiding. The friend's visitation was cut short as there was another knock at the door and two people entered into the room. One was Itachi Uchiha and the other was Mikoto, the latter still bandaged slightly. Excuse me, is this the room of Uzumaki Naruto? Itachi asked cautiously. Hey guys, I'll see ya at school. Bye. Naruto told his friends as they all left. Before turning back to the two Uchihas. How may I help you Uchiha-sama? Naruto asked formally. Nah, I don't like titles that much. Itachi-sen will be fine, this is my mother Mikoto. Who you saved last night. Itachi told Naruto. He then suddenly got on his knees, his mother following suit and they both bowed deeply. We would like to thank you for stopping the man before he ended the Uchiha line. I would also like to thank you for saving my mother and younger brother from a horrible fate. Itachi told the blonde. Hey, you don't have to bow to me. I just did my duty to the village. I mean what kind of person would I be if I let allies be slaughtered? Naruto told them, his voice full of compassion. Itachi got up from the floor and walked up to Naruto, gripping his shoulder gently. Naruto winced from the pain as his scar throbbed slightly. May I see your arm Naruto? Itachi asked, not missing the flinch when he had grabbed the boy's shoulder. Naruto sighed, before pulling his arm out from under the sheet. The bright red scar burned slightly when introduced to the cool hospital air. Itachi looked at the scar with slight curiosity. Naruto, I have been informed by the Hokage that you have interesting affinities. A large fire affinity, if you wish we would like to teach you a few Kaiten jutsus. This would be the beginning of payment for what you have done for us. Also my personal promise that if we are ever battling together I will place your life above my own. Itachi told the boy. Kodo gasped, the jutsus she understood. What Itachi had told the boy was that he was offering a death bond. If the boy would accept, then when they would be paired in a unit. No matter the mission, Itachi would sacrifice himself for the boy. No. I know what you are promising Itachi-san. I will not take your promise, you have a life to live. I would not wish for you to become a sacrifice on my behalf. I would like you to help Sasuke grow and develop so that he will not tread onto the path of revenge. Naruto told the older Uchiha, his voice serious. For a moment Itachi saw the Yondaime Hokage before him. Itachi seeing truth in these words nodded and turned to leave. Mikoto walked up to her savior and gently kissed his cheek. You are always welcomed at the Uchiha house anytime you want. Mikoto told the blonde in a loving tone, almost like a mother praising her child. Naruto smiled and nodded at her. With that the Uchihas left the room. Naruto laid back, exhausted from the people visiting him. His lungs still burned from his use of the DSA. The doctors were surprised that his lungs had not imploded from the force of the use of such a futon jutsu. There was some scarring, but it would heal over time. Naruto closed his eyes, opening them again he found himself on the rocky plateau staring up from the ground at the sky. You my hatchling are an idiot. A voice told him from above as igneel stood over him. You know what igneel, shove it. I want to relax. Naruto retorted to the fire dragon. Igneel smirked predatory before slamming his fist down where Naruto's head was. Seeing the fist, Naruto rolled and jumped up. He dodged again as a kick came from behind, this time from Grandine. We warned you about the effects that could happen. You are lucky that you didn't die from the force on your lungs. Grandine scolded the blonde. Naruto dodged again as another fist missed his face, he then backflipped as an axe kick came down from above. These courtesy of both Skiadrum and Wisloja. What the hell? Can you guys not team up on me right now? Naruto asked, in a no-nonsense tone. What if Naito had killed you, huh? Metallicana asked, using a dual hammer fist. Slamming it into the ground Naruto had been moments before. You'll face stronger foes, and Naito will also be stronger. He was toying with you, you heard what he said. Kyuubi told the blonde, kicking at his head. Naruto froze, sensing truth in her words. Naruto took the brunt of the attack and slammed into the mountain face. You don't think I know that? Naruto yelled back, suddenly holding back tears and failing. You don't think I thought how all of you would feel? How the people that care about me would feel? How it was to be weak, the thought that I might not be alive in moments. Naruto suddenly fell to his knees, crying. The males of the group stood waiting, the two females held Naruto. Naruto cried, yelled, and finally pulled himself together. The sob slowed and then finally stopped. Wiping the tears away, Naruto stood. Looking at his family, who were waiting for something from the young man. I promise, Naruto started, I promise not to let you down. I will get stronger, not just for myself though. For the people I love, the ones that also love me, I will get stronger so that I can protect them. Naruto finished, gripping his fist. The bracelet on his arm started to glow, it changed from a black hue to a misty gray. Naruto looked at the bracelet, wondering what had happened. It looks like we can take the training up a notch now. Igneel commented, smirking. What? What happened? Naruto asked, completely lost on the moment. You have achieved in accessing the next stage. Now you can start learning the dragon-slaying arts. Metayanka informed him, smiling predatory. Brandine smiled gently with love and pride. Skiadrum and Wisloja smirked with pride seeing their adopted brother take a step into becoming stronger. Kyuubi smiled, seeing her kid become stronger and knowing that he would be a force to be reckoned with. Well, we'll get started as soon as I heal fully. Naruto told them. The group nodded, and with that Naruto fell asleep, the events of the last couple of days pushing him to his limits. Friday, October 10th, 13 years after Kyuubi, Naruto's apartment. Naruto had just came back from his training, wanting nothing but to shower and rest. Unfortunately, that was not to be as a knock came from his front door. Pulling a kunai, Naruto placed himself on the edge of the doorframe. Who is it? Naruto asked, knowing that tonight was one of the worst nights for him, which usually ended him up in the hospital or hiding in the forest of death. Naruto, it's Hinata and Hanabi. Can we come in? A voice on the other side of the door asked. Putting the kunai away, Naruto opened the door to see not only Hinata and Hanabi, but Kiba, Shino, Shikamaru, Choji, Mikoto, Itachi, Sasuke, and a dark-haired woman with red eyes and an ample bust, dressed in a form-fitting dress made of what looked like ribbons, and finally next to that woman was another dressed in a mesh bodysuit with a tan trench coat and orange mid-thigh long skirt. Her legs covered by large shin guards. Her hair was in a ponytail that stood in the back. Hey guys, sorry for the mess, come in and sit down. I'll be back in a few minutes. Naruto told them as he led his guests into his small apartment. He headed into his bedroom and went to change. As he reappeared a few minutes later, after taking a quick shower and changed into more comfortable clothing, he was surprised to see a pile of gifts and some food on his table. What is all this? Naruto wondered. Knowing that today was his birthday, but due to the years of abuse and hurt from the villagers, he had never been able to celebrate it. It's your birthday party, silly. Mikoto confirmed what Naruto had been thinking. You mean? Naruto started to ask. Yes, Naruto. This is for you. Itachi told him, guiding him to the living room where his friends were eating and talking. But what about? Naruto started again as he was forced to sit on the lumpy couch. If the villagers are stupid enough to come tonight with 2 Jonin level and 2 Anbu leveled ninjas here, then they deserve the effects of trying anything while we are here. Itachi consoled the young blonde, smiling. So enjoy the festivities and have fun. It's not every day you turn 13. Hey Nai-chan, you said there would be Sake and Dango here. Such a party pooper. The meshed-covered woman complained. Danko, Hinata asked me to come. Not only as a family friend, but as a person. Seeing as you helped Naruto out so much when he was younger, I thought you might want to meet him without being in Anbu mode. Kurenai told Danko. Plus if you behave, we'll go hit the bars after. Okay. Danko nodded, more than content to watch her ward have at least one happy birthday in his life. It still made her angry remembering all the scenes that she had witnessed due to this innocent boy, all of them ending with her taking the boy to the hospital. An exception for the last few years, she had started to notice that no matter what happened to the boy he would not fight back. He showed compassion and love to the people of the village, even after a night of being beat. She started to feel something after years of watching after him, something that she was not able to pin down. Naruto watched his presents were set before him and then the lights went off. Panicing, thinking that the villagers had shut off his power, he went to draw a kunai. Suddenly, everyone started to sing happy birthday. Mikoto and Hinata came from the kitchen holding a cake with 13 candles on it. Placing the cake in front of Naruto, they all waited for the boy to blow out his candles. Moments went by, and they watched as tears started to form in the teenager's eyes. Silently the tears started to pour from his eyes and land on the table. "Naruto? Are you okay?" Mikoto asked worriedly. Over the last couple of months she had started to see this young man as one of her own sons. Even Sasuke had started to accept him as a brother, training with him when the blonde came around. The boy just cried as he looked at the group of people were there, not to harm him, but to celebrate his birthday with him. Hinata went around coffee table and sat down next to him, she then hugged the teenager. Naruto felt this and enjoyed the embrace from his friend. After a few more moments the tears slowed and finally stopped. Naruto looked at the cake, it had a comical looking fox on it and in cursive writing Happy 13th, Naruto was written on it. "Thank you. You don't know how much this means to me. I'm sorry for crying. Let's eat," Naruto explained, blowing out the candles. The lights turned on as Mikoto started to cut the cake for everyone. Karini and Anko grabbed the presents and started to hand them to Naruto. Naruto opened the gifts. The gifts consisted of a new set of kunai and shuriken, a scroll of a C-rank jutsu, a new shogi set, all-natural bug repellent, a waiver for Ichiraku ramen. After Naruto had opened his last present, Hinata stepped forward. Looking at Hinata, he waited. Hinata and Hanabi handed the last gift to him, he opened the gift to see that it contained clothes. "Oh, Haim. I thought I meant more to you than that," Naruto teased the brunette. "Naruto Niasen, these are chakra-enhanced clothes with sealed pockets." Hanabi scolded the blonde for teasing her sister. Actually Naruto, there is one more gift," Hinata told the boy, nervously poking her index fingers together. "Okay?" Naruto asked, looking around looking for a box they missed. Suddenly his face was whipped to the front, Hinata stared at him with all seriousness. Then what happened next surprised everyone, Naruto the most. Hinata went forward and kissed him hard in a step of courage for her. The room was deathly quiet as the kiss went for a few seconds, finally Hinata released Naruto. Hinata eeped at what she had just done, turned a bright red and promptly fainted onto him. Naruto just sat there with a surprised look on his face, a light blush forming. "Wow, I didn't like Hinata would give you a gift like that. Lucky little shit," Anko said, laughing at the scene. "Anko-chan, that's not funny. Do you know how hard it was for Hinata to do that? But Itachi, you owe me my bet," Karinia told the older Uchiha male. Hi," Itachi said as he gave her the money. Suddenly there was a knock at the door, Itachi got up and opened it. A group of villagers were there, the one that had knocked was red from liquor and slashed down with a knife as the door opened. The knife suddenly disappeared only to be found against its owner's throat. "May I help you?" Itachi asked, his Sharingan flashing and starting to spin lazily. The question had attracted the attention of the other 3 ninja in the room, along with everybody else, other than the dazed teenagers on the couch. "We've come for the one of the more drunk villagers started to say, only to be found pinned to the wall opposite the door by a handful of snakes. "What you have come for is a one-way trip to the Kahanagar torture and interrogation center. And trying to ruin a 13-year-old's birthday party, for shame," Anko stated next to the pinned villager as she shook her head. "We'll gladly show you the way," Karinia told them as she appeared to the left of the group. "If not, well, you don't have a choice," Mikoto finished as she finished the boxing formation. Itachi had closed the door by this time. So the teenagers would not see the group of angry drunks. Naruto and Hinata had come around when they heard the door close. "Aw shit. One day, is it too much to ask?" Naruto asked out loud. "What are you talking about, Naruto? The adults went out to get some air," Kiba stated, not reading the vibes in the room. "It's nothing, Kiba. Let's just clean up so you guys can head home," Naruto informed his friends. Shikamaru studied his blonde friend, seeing the nervousness from when they came into the subtle hints that he had seen over the night. It was something about today that had set the teen off. He would have to investigate this later. A few minutes later the rest of the teens had left, the adults appearing as the group finished cleaning up. Hinata was the last out the door, Hanabi and Kurenai waiting at the end of the outside hallway. Naruto grabbed her hand, turning her back to him. "Hinata Haim, I would like to thank you for the last gift. May I take you out on a date sometime?" Naruto asked the Hyuga. Hinata eeped again and blushed a little. "Hi, I would like that," Hinata replied, forcing herself not to faint again in front of her crush. Naruto smiled, releasing her hand, bid her good night and closed the door after Hinata had left. Sighing, he placed his head on the door. Turning around, he went to his window and climbed onto the roof. He laid down and watched as the clouds drifted across the moon and stars. "Well, that was an interesting party," a voice called out from the dark. "Hibi, took you long enough to come say hi. I'm surprised you didn't say anything earlier," Naruto told the woman. "I didn't want to spoil the moment with your little girlfriend," Anko explained to Naruto, sitting down beside him with a sake bottle. "You did promise me that we would go have some fun later." Anko slid up against the blonde, rubbing against him. Naruto blushed gently, the feeling of Anko's breast rubbing against his arm. "I've told you Anko, I'm too young to do stuff like that," Naruto told her, standing up. "Naruto, earlier when you were throwing those tigers around in the forest like they were naughty kittens was a real turn on. Even I have trouble with them and I live in that forest," Anko commented, pushing buttons to get something out of the blonde. "Anko, I know you like to be subjugated. I know it's a big turn on for you to be forced. Just not yet, you know how my life is. How the villagers treat me, even tonight. When I was surrounded by the ones I care about," Naruto explained, trying to hide his face from the snake mistress. "Naruto, let me see your eyes. Let me see what you won't let Hinata-chan see," Anko begged, knowing that they both needed it. They had made an agreement years ago when he started training in the Forest of Death. Forest of Death, 4 years ago. Naruto landed the last hit a bear who had tried to claw him. The bear was out cold, but not hurt too bad. He turned and started walking toward the entrance of the forest. Suddenly a kunai flashed in front of him. Naruto jumped back, sensing for danger. Another kunai flew past, nicking his cheek. Suddenly he tensed up as a pair of arms wrapped around him. "Sogaki, why are you in my forest? Playing with my toys?" the voice asked behind him. A Tanyuge licked his cheek where the kunai had nicked him. "I didn't know that this forest belonged to anyone. As for your toys, the bear started it," Naruto explained, tense from the sudden intrusion of space. "Ah, well Gaki, why would you hurt him if he wanted to play?" the voice asked. "I don't know Hibi, why do you watch me every time I come here?" Naruto questioned back. The arm suddenly let go, the woman suddenly appeared in front of Naruto. Smirking, she retrieved her kunai. "Suu, why do you hide behind your mask? Can I see what you are trying to hide?" Anko asked, curiosity getting to her. Naruto was surprised, only Sarutobi had seen him without his mask on once. The pain and suffering that had built up over the years, even after he found a family that loved him for himself. "I will, only if you remove yours also," Naruto stated. He had noticed this also when he had sensed the woman watching him. The pain and suffering, not to the degree his was. Though close enough. "Let's make a deal then. We'll both remove our masks and show the true self to each other," Anko told him. Naruto thought about this for a moment, then nodded. They stared into each other's eyes, both flooded with pain and suffering and anguish. Both also with want and the fear of being alone. "Let's do this again, it's nice to be around someone who knows what you feel," Anko told him. "Even my best friend can barely see through my mask. It was nice to find someone that's on the same level as I am. I'll be back next weekend, try not to let our toys get too ahead," Naruto asked the snake woman. "Oh, that's on them," Anko replied, "I train with them all the time. It's much more fun than with other people. People are so boring." But that the two outcasts went their separate ways, meeting up every few weeks to remove their masks or just to hang out. Naruto's apartment, present day. Naruto sighed, even though it helped. It hurt every time he removed his mask, he also felt relief. He cherished these moments, the kindred spirits of pained ones seeing the truth of each other. Naruto looked at Anko, both of them took a breath and let the masks drop. The intensity of pain grew between the pair. Soon their faces were a breath away from each other. Their lips so close that their breaths danced on the cold wind of autumn together, like two people dancing to a silent song. Naruto was the first to snap back to reality, he pushed himself away from the situation that was starting to bloom. "Thank you Anko, I needed that after tonight. Those stupid villagers, trying to ruin a wonderful night I had," Naruto explained. The blonde stood up and looked out at the village. "Anytime Naruto," Anko replied, sadly hoping that they could have took the next step. Naruto wouldn't until he was ready both emotionally and mentally. She knew that he needed to grow a little more before that could happen. The kiss from Hinata had shaken him more than they all realized. "Good night Hibi-hime, I'll see you tomorrow," Naruto told Anko in a melancholy tone, his mask still slightly off. With that the blonde headed inside. Sighing, Anko pushed herself up and jumped off the roof. Knowing that she had new playthings in the department waiting for her. Inside Naruto laid in his bed, drifting into the sweet abyss of sleep. His mind flashed back to the kiss with Hinata, the softness of her lips. The love emanating from her. Naruto also felt the same feeling from Anko just moments ago. He had always was able to sense the emotions of people, on times it had saved his life multiple times. "Can I actually be loved?" Naruto asked himself before he was embraced by the abyss of nothingness. In Naruto's mindscape, his family had watched and felt his emotions turn into a rollercoaster. He needs to find his mindset before he can take the next step. Igneel stated. Yeah, but unless Kami is gonna make a miracle happen. Then one, if not all three of them will have their hearts broken. Grandine remarked. Realm of the gods. Kami sneezed and the chessette shook ever so slightly. What the hell Kami, if you caught a cold in that thin bed sheet, you call a dress. Then you better not let either one of us catch it. Yami complained as she grabbed a cookie and took a sip from her goblet. The pieces on the board settled as the game continued. Yami would never say anything, but she was enjoying this round of chess. Council room, midnight, Hokage. So from the reports that were written on the Uchiha massacre, we now see that young Uzumaki has a unique skill set. Almost, bloodline-like. As far as we have seen, this bloodline could be useful. One of the smarter civilian council members stated. Yes, but if you think that young Naruto will want to whore himself out to any woman you want, I might want you to think again. Sarutobi answered. I, myself will not be taking part in this vote as he saved me from dying a few months ago. Mikoto informed the council, on another note. My sons nor myself will be under the craw. That is my final judgment. I also will not vote due to the situation that he is my son's friend. Choza informed the council. Shika raised his head and held up a thumbs down, showing that he would not vote either. My daughter is also infatuated with Uzumaki-san. I will also have to decline my vote. Hiashi voiced. But that will take a vote to see if Naruto Uzumaki will be placed under the craw. Sarutobi stated. With a show of hands, Sarutobi sighed and rubbed his forehead. Sensing that this would be the longest years of his life in the near future. Naruto might either hug me, chew me out, or kill me for this, Sarutobi thought to himself as he dismissed the council. Land of Lightning, October 11th, unknown location. The cave was nothing of importance, no one entered it. It was just another hole. It was this cave that Naito watched. Sensing power that was sealed, his ancestors had been tasked with keeping this place safe until the time was right. Naito sensed that something was happening in the back of the cave, a shift of power. At the back of the cave the wall suddenly cracked and crumbled, showing a door. If one would open this door they would find a room lined with coffins in them. The markings show on the coffins would be nothing one of the present people could read. Several of the coffins were marked, the symbols worn away due to time. One of the coffins opened up with a hiss. A large man with bright yellow hair stepped out, cracking his neck. Oh, being stuck in that thing put a creak in my neck. I wish someone else was awake, I need a warm-up. The man stated to himself. He watched the coffins, out of all of them only one interested him. One that had no markings on it, this one was colored in a midnight black stone. Looking at the other coffins the man sighed, I guess I'll have to sit and wait for the rest to wake up. So boring. The blades Naito Hanta wielded are called a bowie knife or called an Arkansas toothpick. Naito Hanta means night hunter at least by Google Translate. Fujita scale, the scale of how large and destructive a tornado would be. Academy years PRT3. Kohinagakure, 15 year after Kyuubi incident, Shinobi Academy. Finally it was here, the day before graduation day. The next day they could be called a shinobi. Several of these children were bored, waiting for the day to end. No more than a white and silvered blonde-haired teen. For what seemed like the umpteenth time Naruto sighed. He was never one for really sitting and waiting, Iruka's final lesson was boring him to death. Naruto looked and saw that Iruka was not really paying attention to his class, focusing more on the chalkboard. Hey, which do you guys think I should try in the class's time frame? Delta Indigo or Alpha Alpha? Naruto asked to his family. If we put it to a vote, then it would have to be Zeta Zulu. Kyuubi replied, being the one that had produced the idea for Zeta Zulu. Zeta Zulu would have a nice effect on the rest of the village. The problem is that Zeta Zulu is a double-edged prank. We have no idea how the villagers or shinobi would take it. Skiadrum commented. I think Kyuubi is right, if this is our last day before we become shinobi. Then we need to go out with a bang. Naruto told the group. With that, Naruto simply vanished from the classroom. Hinata saw Naruto walk past, knowing what her boyfriend would be going to do. She smiled as she focused on Iruka's lecture. Really Naruto-kun, are you really going to try Zeta Zulu? Just be careful, the Hyuga heir thought to herself, waiting for the surprise that was to happen. Sure enough, about 10 minutes later a jonin rushed in. Iruka, where is Naruto Uzumaki? The jonin asked, voiced in agitation. Well, he's right, Iruka started as he pointed to Naruto's desk, finally noticing he was missing and that 3/4 of his class were promptly passed out. Hinata, when did he leave? Iruka asked the question blonde's girlfriend. About 12 minutes ago. Hinata replied with a slight smile, after years of being around Naruto her stutter was almost fully gone. It returned if she was extremely nervous or embarrassed. Really? Why didn't you say anything? Iruka inquired. If my boyfriend wants to leave the academy in a show of wonderment, who am I to stop him from doing it? Hinata replied, showing a little bit of mischievousness that had rubbed onto her from Naruto. What has he done now? Haruka wondered. Hinata smiled broadly, Zeta Zulu. But those two words, Haruka palmed his face hard. Then the weirdest thing started to happen, Haruka started to chuckle. The chuckle turned into a snort, then laughter came gushing out. I was wondering when he would pull Zeta Zulu. I'm surprised it took him this long. Haruka said, finally coming off his laughing high. But Naruto, Hokage monument. Naruto stood waiting for the presence of the Kohenakager Anbu. You guys are 5 minutes late. Naruto commented as the people he had been waiting on appeared behind him. Turning, he only saw 3 Anbu standing behind him. Bear, Tiger, and Hawk were in defensive stances waiting for something to happen. Only 3, I was hoping for at least a squadron to be here. Naruto informed the 3 Anbu. So, Naruto. Which plan is this one? Hawk asked as he eased himself forward with caution. Naruto produced a shit-eating grin before he turned back around and started walking to the edge of the monument. He then looked over his shoulder as he took the final step. Zeta Zulu. Naruto stated, then dropped off the Hokage monument. Shit, I thought that was a legend. Bear told Hawk. It was supposed to be. Get him before he dies. Hawk commanded Bear, who jumped after the blonde. Zeta Zulu. Tiger asked. I forgot, you just started yesterday. Zeta Zulu is the highest rank ever on the Naruto prank scale. It was only supposed to be a myth, a legend. Yet Naruto went and did it. And if he told us we were late and had too few people. Well then, we seriously did not think this through. Hawk explained to Tiger as he followed suit of Bear. You still haven't told me what the prank is, Tiger yelled as he jumped after Hawk. You'll see as we follow him. Hawk yelled back, smiling under his mask. For years Naruto had a fun-hate relationship with the Anbu. It started with a harmless prank of coloring the Anbu's masks, in which the Anbu retaliated and started hunting Naruto down. The pranks then started to escalate as time passed. The day would one day come for a final showdown between the elite shinobi and the king of pranks. As harmless as the pranks were, a rumor was started by who nobody knew of a final prank. Of a prank called Zeta Zulu. The Naruto prank scale had 26 levels, Alpha Zeta. In that scale there was another scale on the severity of the main prank, Alpha Zulu. So simply put, Zeta Zulu was the worst prank ever. It was the code for pranking the entire of Kohenakure. In other words, nobody was safe from the prankster king. But Naruto, moments after falling. Naruto enjoyed the rush of wind on his face as he plummeted off the monument. He felt the presence of one Anbu falling after him. He turned in mid-flight to see that it was only Bear, followed moments later by Hawk then Tiger. Smirking, he threw a small white ball up. Quickly he channeled wind chakra into his arms and legs, slowing his descent. Naruto gently landed on top of the Hokage's office. He looked up to see the beginning of Zeta Zulu. The Shodai Hokage face was covered in what looked like branches and shrubbery, making him look more like a tree dweller rather than the founder of the village. Next, the Nidaime looked to have a fish face and had tears running down his face. Turning, he faced the face of the Sandaime Hokage, which looked like a perverted monkey with blood dripping from his nose. Finally, the Yondaime was colored to look like a toad with an attitude, an air of seriousness mixed with comedy. Suddenly the 3 Anbu that had cornered him on the monument landed in front of him. Their Anbu uniforms multicolored, looking as if they fell through a rainbow. We got you now, Naruto. Hawk stated, feeling a slight pity that their game of cat and mouse was coming to an end. Gotta catch me first. Naruto replied, as a ball of light exploded from his hand outwards. Temporarily blinded, Hawk reached forward to grab the blonde. Feeling a pull of resistance, he slapped a chakra sealant tag on the person. What the fuck? A voice responded. Who is that? Hawk asked, still blinded. It's Tiger, you stupid motherfucker. Tiger retorted. Damn it. He got away. Hawk informed the team. Hawk then pressed the button on his comm link. Warning to all Anbu, Zeta Zulu is in effect. I repeat, Zeta Zulu is in effect. Hawk spoke over the comm link. The only thing that was heard over the radio was fuck me. From multiple voices. Then suddenly another voice could be heard over the comm link. This one was from a pre-recording that had been set up beforehand. The ol' Anbu, you have a countdown of 2 minutes till the next event is to take place. To stop the event, you'll have to catch me. Good luck and may the odds be ever in my favor. Naruto Uzumaki, prank king of Kohenakure. The message informed them. Fucker hacked the comm link. How the hell did he do that? Tiger asked. Dude, we are talking about Naruto Uzumaki. Really want to figure that out? Bear asked him. On second thought, no I don't. Tiger replied after thinking for a moment. Target sighted, heading into the market district. A voice replied over the comm link. Sure enough, a large cloud of smoke could be seen in the market district. It originated from the second best shinobi weapons shop. The man looked out his shop door to see that his competitor had been Naruto'd. Smiling, he was glad that he had treated the boy with kindness. With seeing the shop across from him being pranked, decided that it was a good time to close the shop for the rest of the day. Uchiha compound. Itachi Uchiha was pulling on his Anbu gear, readying himself for work. He turned on his comm link to hear Zeta Zulu is in effect. Upon hearing that, Itachi promptly took off his Anbu gear, placing it back in the dresser. He then went to lock and bolt all the openings into the house. It feels like a good day to do nothing. Itachi told himself as he sat down, only to hear a squishing noise. Looking down, he saw that he had sat down in quick-setting rubber cement. Well fuck. Itachi said as he realized he had just been Naruto'd. Akimichi BBQ restaurant. What do you mean all the barbecue sauce was switched with quadruple flame hot sauce? Choza asked his sous chef. When the second shift came in, all the barbecue had been switched out. The sous chef explained. Not only that, all the sinks have been clogged and or removed. Dear Kami, it's Zeta Zulu. Choza explained, a sense of dread coming over the plump shinobi. What do we do? The sous chef asked, worried for his own safety, let alone anyone else. We close the shop. What else can we do until this maelstrom has passed? Choza calmly told his second. I would also like you to inform anyone that had been mean or disrespectful to Naruto to pray really hard. Nara resident, Nara deer farm. It was a disaster at the deer farm. Not only had the deer got outside the pens and started to stampede, but all the stags were dressed up like a red-nosed reindeer. 8 of the deer had been set to a sleigh, and a figurine wearing a red outfit lined with white fluff could be seen sitting in the back. The speaker set was in the sleigh playing numerous songs relating to snow, chestnuts, and a thing called Christmas. Needless to say, it was going to be an entertaining day for the Nara. As they scrambled to catch and place the deer back into the pens. Years after Zeta Zulu, the Nara clan could still be heard whistling a tune that sounded like a song that had been played that day. Kohinakager Hot Springs. Dog had been following Naruto at a quick pace, almost catching him several times. Only to find himself trapped in a wire net as they entered the Hot Springs district. Attached to the said net was a note that read enjoy the kisses. Feeling the dampness from the springs, Dog realized that both his Anbu mask and his face mask were missing. Dog looked up to see a group of women smiling at him. A hungry predatory look in their eyes. Naruto? Were the last words that were heard before he was set upon. Hokage's office. Sarutobi had been laughing at what Naruto had done to the monument. Then the emergency call had came over the comm link, I repeat Zeta Zulu is in effect. Upon hearing that, Sarutobi hit the safe room button. His office becoming a personalized bunker. Settling back to catch up on some reading, he pulled out his book. Opening it, his eyes became large and horrified. Running to his secret stash of books, he started to go through them. Only to be more horrified at each book. The book that had been left on the desk showed only yaoi-themed scenes. Each book had been replaced with its yaoi counterpart. The Hokage was found a few hours later, sitting in a shivering pile with a white wisp floating out of his mouth. Forest of Death. Naruto settled down and opened a scroll. His back against a large chuffing tiger, who was calmly sunning itself. He figured that he had atlased a couple of hours before they tried the forest, and he had decided to work out a seal for the reverse summoning of his family. The large crashing noise could be heard from the other side of the forest, and it was fast approaching the blonde. Suddenly a large gray-colored snake appeared, its head easily the size of an academy classroom. Sitting on top of the snake's head was a very pissed-off Anko. Why? The only question that was asked as the snake poised to strike. Zeta Zulu, all bets were off. Naruto replied calmly as he read through his scroll. The tiger looked up and at that moment decided that a clearing on the other side of the forest was better, or a cave would be an even wiser idea. As the aura that was imitating from the snake mistress was anything to go on. Sweetheart. I think that the Gaki needs to have a lesson taught to him. Sick him. Anko told the snake. But that the snake struck. Naruto abandoned his sitting spot, narrowly dodging the attack. Geez Anko, it was a harmless prank. Don't get your panties in a twist. What's wrong, you don't have any prisoners to get off on? Naruto asked in a mocking tone. No. Anko replied in a serious tone. I can deal with a lot of things, hell I'll even help you set some pranks up. But when you take my dango stash and replace it with instant ramen. Like you said not moments ago, all bets are off. Well it was funny while it lasted. Naruto stated, laughing at the snake mistress. Dodging another strike from the snake, the blonde thought it might be a good idea to leave, well the leaving was good. Get back here, I ain't done with you yet. Anko yelled after the fleeing teenager. Oh, bite me he behind. Naruto yelled back. Hold still and I will. Anko replied as the snake went in again. I didn't mean literally, you crazy sadistic bitch. Naruto exclaimed, fleeing from the serpent's onslaught. Sounds of crashing, explosions, and several strings of cursing could be heard for hours later. Naruto's apartment, nighttime. After the light exorcist from Anko, Naruto was tired. After a quick shower and a change of clothes, he ventured into his kitchen. Hungry from the day's activities. Opening his cabinet where his after pranking ramen was stored, Naruto froze. He rushed to his emergency ramen cabinet, he turned horrified to the fridge. Praying that there was something in it other than the monstrosities that were offered in his sacred places. Gulping loudly, he slowly opened the refrigerator. After staring at the horror that was before his sight, Naruto fainted, foam forming around his mouth. If one was to enter Naruto's apartment, they would find the blonde passed out in the middle of the kitchen. The cabinets open to show only cans of nothing but turnip greens. The fridge only contained fresh turnip greens. A small note could be found on the first shelf in the fridge, saying you've been Hinata'd. With a chibi Hinata blowing a kiss. After that day, it was known that even though Naruto was labeled as the king of pranks, a rumor had started of another person that had even pranked the king, they were labeled as the kami of pranks. Nobody knew who had pranked the king as all evidence had been removed. The only person that knew of the identity of the person was the king of pranks, and his lips were sealed. Shinobi Academy, a few days after Zeta Zulu. Due to what was now to be named Double Z Day aftermath, the graduation exam had been set back a few days. Naruto sat with Hinata, holding hands and both of them silently praying for a miracle. Hinata, Hyuga, please come in. Haruka called as a student left the empty classroom. Good luck, Hina. Naruto wished, kissing her cheek. Hinata blushed gently from the catcall she got from the girls in the class. Thank you, Naru-kun. Promise me even if either of us fail that we'll still have our anniversary date. Hinata looked at him. I promise. It'll be a night for you to remember. Naruto told the brunette. Watching Hinata go into the unknown was frightening for Naruto. She had been there for him emotionally for the last few years. Feeling the fear of not being in her presence was starting to drown the teen. Especially when Sarutobi had dropped the craw bomb on him. Needless to say, so far only 2 women had been allowed into his harem. One was Hinata, and the other was Anko. The blonde sighed as he remembered how both of his girlfriends had met. Flashback, 2 years ago, Hyuga compound. Naruto in the least to say nervous. While waiting to escort Hinata to their date, Hiashi bored a hole into the blonde. After a few moments of allowing Naruto to sweat, Hiashi smiled. Naruto, you do promise to treat my daughter with the respect and dignity that is shown for her position. Correct? Hiashi asked, in a sentence that was not really in the area to say the wrong thing. Naruto swallowed nervously, the bouquet of lilies shaking slightly. Naruto nodded, not trusting his voice. Luckily Hinata appeared, rescuing the death-fearing blonde from his torment. Hinata looked ravishing in a dark purple form-fitting dress with a slight V-cut that showed a little of her bust accompanied by a pair of lavender high heels. The straps crossing up part of her thighs. Naruto's heart stopped and time seemed to stand still as he looked at the Hyuga heiress. Hinata was in the same boat as Naruto had stood, wearing a nice button-down shirt that was silver and red with a fox motif on one side, paired with a set of dark blue dress slacks. His hair had been tamed slightly, with it ending being pulled into a ponytail. The teens were suddenly brought back to reality by a cough from Hiashi, who motioned with his eyes to the bouquet of flowers in Naruto's hands. Naruto, suddenly remembering the flowers, stood up and handed them to Hinata. Flowers, I brought you some Hinatas. Naruto told the beauty that had appeared before him. Hinata giggled, I will gladly accept these Hinatas. Handing them to her sister to go put into water and set them in her room. Naruto looked confused before he rubbed the back of his neck from nervousness. Sorry, I meant I hope you like the flowers. Makoto had tried her best to teach him how to act out in a romantic public setting rather than just being surrounded by friends. Most of her teachings got through the teen's thick skull, the only thing that he could not get a handle on was ballroom dancing. Naruto-san, I believe that I have held you up long enough. I will allow you to escort my daughter on this date. I wish her to be home by 10 o'clock tonight. I will warn you, if one hair is out of place. Hiashi left a threat hanging in the air. Naruto swallowed hard, knowing the promise of pain and suffering in the silence that was left in the air. Hi, Hiashi-sama. Naruto replied, his already shaking confidence starting to shake even more. Dusan, stop it. You know that Naruto will be a perfect gentleman. Hinata told her father. It is a father's duty to make sure that a candidate is adequate for his daughter. Hiashi informed her with a raised eyebrow, sensing that this pairing would be a wise choice. No matter what the Hyuga elders would say or try, Hiashi would be damned they tried to ruin his daughter's chance to be happy and more confident. He saw that after their little accident a few months before. Hiashi started to put more pressure on them as head of the Hyuga clan, more than once reminding them that they were advisors. Have fun, Hinata-kun. Naruto. Enjoy your date. Hiashi stated as the pair went out the door. Naruto opening the door for Hinata and following after her. Shiza-san, follow them. Try to be discreet. I don't want her first date to be ruined by thinking I don't trust her choice. Hiashi explained to one of the branch cadets. Hiashi-sama. Shiza accepted and left to follow the couple. But Naruto and Hinata. So, Naru-kun. What's on the agenda for tonight? Hinata asked, trying to settle the nervous blonde. I've booked us reservations at the Dancing Rose. Naruto told her, leading her towards their destination. The Dancing Rose, isn't that the most expensive restaurant in the village? Hinata asked, surprised that Naruto could afford such pleasures. Nothing but the best for my Haim. Naruto stated to Hinata. As restaurant came into view, Naruto got nervous again, feeling exposed. The events of that night flashed in the back of his mind. That event had rattled him. He shook the feeling of dread off as they entered the restaurant. As the couple stepped forward, the hostess looked up, smiling. Welcome to the Dancing Rose. How may I help you this evening? The hostess asked. Do reservations under Uzumaki. Naruto stated, his palms sweating slightly. Uzumaki. Ah, yes. Here you are, sir. Please follow me. The hostess motioned. The hostess set them at a table next to a large fountain that had what looked to be a swan in mid-takeoff in the middle of it. A waiter appeared as the hostess left. May I take your orders? The waiter asked kindly. Do you have any suggestions? Naruto asked, his nervousness setting back in slightly. First date? The waiter asked. That obvious? I'm sorry if it's too much to ask. Naruto told the waiter. Not at all. How about a steak with roasted potatoes and green beans for you, sir, and would your lovely girlfriend like a steamed salmon fillet with a nice salad to accompany it? The waiter asked. Yes, that sounds lovely. Hinata told the waiter, smiling. Naruto nodded as the waiter looked towards the blonde to confirm the order. As they waited on their order, Hinata told Naruto of her mother and how she was the one to teach Hinata about gardening and baking, in which turned into her love for them. Naruto sat there and gazing at her beauty, saying the right things at the right moment. Even telling her of some pranks that he had pulled off successfully. Soon Hinata's order arrived. The salmon fillet was mouth-watering. As she took the first bite, the flavor exploded in her mouth. Her body shook from the deliciousness of her food. About halfway through her plate, she noticed that Naruto's food had yet to appear. Frowning slightly, she went to call the waiter back over. No, Hinata, it's okay. I'm guessing it's taking longer than expected with my order. I had a big lunch, so it'll be fine for a bit. Naruto told her, smiling. But Naruto, Hinata started. No buts, Haim. Please let's just enjoy the evening. Naruto begged her. Hinata nodded, seeing that the blonde wanted her to have a good time. Soon Hinata had finished her plate and still Naruto's order had not arrived. As the waiter came and offered the bill to Naruto, which had both orders on it clearly. Naruto paid the price for both orders and even left a generous tip. The hostess appeared again. This one different from the one that had sat them. Ma'am, if you would like I can escort your date out for you and you can eat in peace. The new hostess explained. No thank you, that will not be needed as I had just finished. We are leaving, and if this is how you treat all of your customers, then we are not returning to this establishment. Hinata explained in sickly sweet tone, smiling as she explained. But that being said, Hinata flowed toward the entrance, her arm laced with Naruto's. Her nails digging into Naruto's arm, drawing a bit of blood. During this entire ordeal Naruto said nothing. They had walked about a block from the restaurant before Hinata turned to Naruto. Now that we are done with that. Would you like to go eat? Hinata asked her date. I'll eat later, Haim. It wasn't a problem. As long as you are happy. Naruto told her with a smile. No, we are getting you something to eat. Now. No arguing. Hinata told the blonde, pulling him the next dining establishment they went past. Which happened to be an all-night dango shop. Hi, we would like some dango with red bean paste. Hinata told the owner. Ma'am, would you like to be somewhere more robust setting in your attire? The owner asked. Sir, we were at a robust establishment earlier. I would not go there again if the Hokage order me to go. Hinata replied in a sick tone. Okay then, order of dango with red bean paste coming up. The owner confirmed. Sitting at the bar, they were just talking about random things when suddenly an arm appeared around Naruto's neck and pulled him into an ample bust. Aki, I thought you would never eat dango. Has the end times began, or are you a weird doppelganger that loves nothing but dango rather than ramen? A voice teased. Unfortunately you are to be disappointed, Anko-chan. I'm the same ramen-loving Naruto as ever. Hinata Haim forced me to get food. Naruto commented. And then Naruto, who is this? I know she's Karina Nisen's friend, but how do you know her? Hinata stuttered at the blonde who was pulling himself from the embrace of the snake mistress. Anko lives in the training ground I use for practice. Naruto explained, seeing the dango that was set in front of him. He grabbed a stick and started to eat the food. Anko-san, who are you to Naruto? Hinata asked boldly, her eyes holding a small flame in them. Me and Naru-kun go back a few years. I met him when he decided to throw a tiger into the wall of my tower. Anko explained. She had noticed the look in the young Hyuga's eyes and was slightly impressed by the goal that she took. Okay, Naruto, did you want to do something else tonight? Hinata asked in a cold tone that stated she did not want to be here longer than necessary. Yeah. Anko-chan, I'll see you later. Okay. Naruto bid the snake mistress goodbye. He went outside, turning he noticed that Hinata was staring daggers at the scantily clad woman. Who are you really to Naruto? Hinata asked in a serious tone. I'm someone who wants Naruto to be happy, if that means I have to be a backburner, then I will be. So help me if you break his heart, I don't care if Kami itself comes down and tells me to apologize for what I do to you. I won't do it. Anko replied in tone that matched Hinata's. One final question. Do you love Naruto? Hinata asked. It was more of a confidence thing than an actual question. How about we tell Naruto that we are going to have a woman talk and let him go do something for a minute? Anko explained, sensing the worriness coming from the young teen. Hinata nodded and explained to Naruto that Anko and herself wanted to talk for a bit. Naruto rubbed the back of his head from nervousness. I saw something a few shops back. I'll be back in a few minutes. As Naruto left the two women, an air of seriousness enveloped the women. Now that he's gone, again do you love Naruto? Hinata asked, punctuating the question. I do, he's someone that I can relate to. He hides so much for the happiness of his loved ones. He carries a mask that he won't let down, not unless you can make him. I can only do it in exchange of shedding my mask for a few moments. I will never ask him to shed it in front of others. It's the pain that we both feel that we have connected with each other. I guess it was around when he turned 9 that I started to have a crush after warding him in the shadows. Anko explained, more worried for the young blonde rather than herself. This was a situation that she had to tread carefully in, otherwise she could push not only the teen she had came to love, but also another who he had started to open up to. Hinata sat thinking over what Anko had just told her, and she came up with only one solution. Hinata turned to Anko, her position showing to the older woman. I want you to shed your mask for a minute. I need you to show me what you are speaking of. Hinata explained. Anko swallowed, this was it. An now or never moment, one of those moments that could make or break her fellow mask wielder. Anko closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. Hinata stared adamantly at the snake mistress, suddenly she felt as if she was drowning. The air suddenly no longer existed, only pain and suffering were there. Eyes that her father showed a few times with worriness. Only these were more intense, concentrated even. Anko pulled her mask back up, burying the pain and suffering back down. She noticed that the young heiress was shaking hard physically. That is my pain. I only ask you this out of my love for Naruto. Please don't ask him to shed his mask. Not until he is ready, until he is willing. It might take years, or even decades. Trust me, he will show you it. Anko explained and begged the heiress. I will not ask Naruto to shed his mask until he wishes. Anko, I would love it if we could share Naruto's love. I feel that if we try together, then his pain might ease. Hinata explained, she had felt Naruto's worry when she explained to him that her and Anko wanted to talk. Hey Hinaheim, Anko-chan. I'm back. Naruto announced himself to the two women. Naru-kun, I want to say something. Hinata spoke gently in a calm tone. Okay? Did you not like the date? Naruto asked, worried that Hinata wasn't happy with how the night went. No. That's not it. If it's okay with you. Hinata started, sighing she pushed through. Knowing that if she didn't do this now, she never would be able to. Anko-chan and I would like to share our love with you. Hinata told the blonde, to show her point Hinata nodded to Anko. Anko stood up in front of the blonde. Grabbing Naruto's shirt, the snake mistress kissed him. Needless to say, Naruto was shocked. He had been beating himself to find a way to be with both of them. Yet, they had settled with putting Naruto above themselves, rather than fighting for him like a couple of fangirls. Hinata stood next to the couple, tapping Naruto on his shoulder to let him know that she was still there. Naruto turned his attention to his other Haim, only to be pulled into another kiss. This one more intense than the one he had before. After a few moments the kiss ended. Naruto stood frozen, seeing both of these women kissing him without even being enraged with the other, had shocked him to his core. Naruto, come back to us. Anko was saying, as Naruto came around. Oh, the things I wanted to get you guys. Naruto fumbled with not only his emotions, but with the two packages that he had with him. I hope you both enjoy them. They wrap them the same, so you might have to switch. Naruto explained. Opening the packages that Naruto had presented to them, both women gasped at the beauty of the gifts. Hinata's package had a dragon pendant made of amethyst that looked more elegant than fierce. As if it was made just for her, recognizing her position as a princess of the Hyuga clan. Anko's package had a fierce fox talisman made from topaz, sheer wildness that the fox emitted was just for her. showing the truth that she was overly protective of not just her village, but of her loved ones. Both women stared at the pendants, tears barely being held in check. Naruto started to get worried, it had been a few minutes since he had gave them their gifts. "Naruto, would you like to place them on us?" Hinata asked, handing the blonde her pendant. Naruto nodded, placing the amethyst dragon around Hinata's neck. Turning to Anko, he repeated the action with the topaz fox. "One good thing is these have a seal on them so that they'll never fade or break on accident," Naruto explained. "They're beautiful, Naruto, I can't think of a more beautiful way to end the night." Hinata and Anko both expressed in total admiration. Naruto happened to look at a clock as the group passed a timepiece shop, seeing how late it was getting started to pull Hinata along. "Shit, Hinata, it's 5 minutes till 10. Your dad's gonna kill me." Naruto started to worry. "Hatchling, use your wind chakra. You'll be there in a minute," Grandine told the blonde. Mentally slapping himself, he turned to Hinata. "I'm sorry to be so forward, but I'm gonna have to carry you. Don't want to risk hurting you, otherwise your dad will kill me." Hinata looked confused for a moment before she nodded. Naruto picked her up bridal style. "Anko, I'll take you out next time," Naruto promised. "Wait, before you go." Anko told him. She turned Naruto's head to face her and gave him a light kiss. "Till next time." Naruto smiled, "Till next time, Hebihime." With that said, Naruto applied wind chakra to his feet and jumped onto the roof. As soon as they had landed on the roof, he started to sprint, not a normal shinobi sprint. It was one that seemed that a demon from hell had started to chase him. The scenery blurred past as Naruto pushed himself. In moments the Hyuga compound was in sight, slowing down he landed at the front gate just as the clock struck 10. Naruto gently placed Hinata down. Hiashi opened the gate, seeing that his daughter was on time. Cocking an eyebrow at the state of her hair. He would have asked, but having seen the speed at which Naruto had came back to heal Hinata, he was not surprised. We lost track of time," Naruto explained nervously. "I see." Hiashi commented, turning to his daughter he looked her over. "Did you enjoy yourself, Hinata?" Hiashi asked. "It was wonderful too, San. I would like to have another if that is acceptable," Hinata inquired. "I'll give you 3 more minutes," Hiashi stated and went back through the front gate, leaving it slightly ajar for Hinata. Naruto turned to Hinata, "I had fun. Like I said, I'm sorry for rushing it at the end. Naru-kun, I enjoyed my time with you. I'm glad that we went on this date, I'm also glad that I found a person that loves you as much as I do." Hinata calmed the worried blonde, she then cupped his face and kissed him. Hiashi was watching on the other side of the gate, smiling at the interaction that was happening. He would approve of his daughter dating Naruto, and since he knew of Naruto's admittance into the Kra, he wanted his daughter to be happy with whatever choice she made, even if that meant screen each candidate for Naruto's harem. "Hinata, it's time," Hiashi informed his daughter. "Hia, Tusan. I'm coming. Naru-kun, I'll see you at school." Hinata bid the blonde farewell and good night. Naruto stood there for a minute processing all that happened tonight, he then turned and started to head towards the Uchiha district. Mikoto had made him promise that after each date he was to tell her what happened so they could improve to the next level of dating. Present day, Shinobi Academy. Naruto was brought out of his reminiscing of his first date with Hinata and the meeting of his 2 beautiful himes by a hand that was waving in front of his face. "Naru-kun, did you hear me?" Hinata asked. "Huh?" Naruto asked confused. "I asked what are you doing after?" Hinata asked again, knowing that the blonde was remembering something. "Oh, I have no idea. What do you want to do?" Naruto asked. "I thought we would go grab Anko-chan and Kurenai-chan to celebrate," Hinata stated to boyfriend. "That sounds good, I haven't seen Kurenai since summer break." Naruto remembered. They had been invited to a lake party over the summer, but that would be for another moment to think back on. Naruto Uzumaki Iruka called. "Good luck, Naru-kun." Hinata wished, kissing him. It was Naruto's turn to get the catcalls from the boys. As Naruto entered the testing room, Naruto knew he had this part in the bag. He remembered all the training Anko had put him through to make sure his chakra control wasn't shit. "Naruto, I need you to do a henge, a kawarimi, and finally a bushin." Naruto nodded and henged himself into an exact double of Iruka. Iruka looked Naruto over and found no flaws in his henge. He then kawarimi'd, a poof of smoke showed a giggling Sarutobi reading an orange book. Hokage-sama, shouldn't you be doing paperwork?" Iruka deadpanned. "Iruka, why are you in my office?" Sarutobi asked. "Naruto kawarimi'd with you," Iruka explained. Naruto reappeared as he kawarimi'd again. Iruka nodded, putting down some notes. "Finally, the bushin," Iruka stated. "Can I use any bushin, or does it have to be the ear-ranked?" Naruto inquired. "I guess any would be fine," Iruka stated, wondering what the blonde was up to. Naruto did the set of seals for an ear-ranked bushin, at the end he added a few extra seals. Suddenly 6 small smoke clouds popped up. Surrounding Naruto were 5 winged lizards, and a fox was perched on his head. Naruto, you were supposed to create a bushin of realistic creatures. Not legendary creatures. Haruka explained, I'm sorry, but I'm gone. Hey hatchling, did you bushin us here for the graduation test? The red-winged lizard asked. Yeah igneel, Haruka-sensei said, I could do any. So I wanted to try it out. Naruto explained to the fire drake. Which one is Haruka? The gray-winged lizard asked. Naruto pointed at Haruka, the white-winged lizard flew over to him and looked at him as if judging him. He's okay. The white-winged lizard stated before flying back to Naruto. So Haruka, do I pass? Naruto asked, smirking slightly. Naruto Uzumaki, pass. Haruka told the blonde, still stunned at the creatures that were not only solid bushins, but were talking to the said blonde. Awesome, come on Nai and Ni-sans. Let's go tell Hinaheim that I passed. Naruto told the group as he put a headband on and left. What the fuck was that? Haruka asked out loud, was I tripping? Oh, Haruka exclaimed. A small igneel on his foot, nope not tripping. Naruto. Haruka yelled, then threw igneel out the door after the blonde shinobi. But Naruto and his family. Igneel came flying out of the classroom, the little serpent twisted in the air. He caught himself and soared over to Naruto's shoulder. He asked, I was trying to help. Igneel informed the group. Naruto sat down next to Hinata, smiling broadly. Hinaheim, meet my family. The new jutsu worked, on a small scale. I'll have to work with it to bring them fully out. Naruto explains as the creatures played around. The other students starting to surround them, seeming interested in the creatures. The females stared with unsated hunger at the fox on Naruto's head. Feeling a foreboding aura coming from them, the fox jumped onto Hinata's lap. Crawling under her jacket to hide. I'm too cute and fluffy to die. The fox exclaimed. Nisan, they won't try anything. Naruto told the fox. As the students had become quickly uninterested when one of the dragons snapped at a finger of one of the more unruly students. You are not allowed to touch, you brats. The white dragon warned as the student tried to poke him. Now that's over. Hatchling, are you going to introduce us or just let your Heim wonder who we are? The dark gray dragon informed the blonde. Oh, sorry. Hinata, this is Metallicana. Naruto told her point to the dark gray dragon. Yo. Metallicana greeted. Skiadrum and was Loja. Pointing to the white and black dragons. Hi hello. We do tricks for treats. As the two took off and preformed multipulerile flips and twists. Yeah. Jockesters, here. Naruto told them pulling out some jerky. In which the two landed and started to devour the dried seasoned meat. Brandine. Pointing to a silvery dragon. It's a pleasure to meet you, Hinata-chan. Naruto has told us so much about you. Gradine stated politely. Telling a half-truth as they were sealed into Naruto. Igneel. Pointing to the deep red dragon. At least the hatchling has some manners. Igneel informed Hinata. Who giggled at this. And finally the fluffball in your jacket is Caillou. Naruto finished as Caillou popped her head out and licked Hinata's cheek. You're so soft. Kyuubi stated, causing both teens to blush ever so slightly. Mainly due to where Kyuubi was located when the statement was made. Guys, this is Hinata Heim. I hope as I get this jutsu down that you will allow her to summon yourselves. Naruto explained to the group. In a flash all 5 dragons and Kyuubi were lined single file, staring hard at Hinata. The combined look started to scare the pale-eyed teen. Suddenly Grandine stepped forward, her eyes softening. It would be an honor. Grandine told the teens, bowing slightly. Thanks guys, I'll see you all later. Naruto told them dispelling the jutsu, all of them poofing back into the seal. Banko and Karinia-chan want to take us somewhere later. They said to wear something formal but still fun. Hinata explained to her boyfriend. Knowing that, it could be anything. Naruto told her smiling gently. Lighting country, sealed room. The man was lighting his fingers on fire one by one. The black flames dancing back and forth on his hand. Will you guys hurry up, I want to go tear something up. The man told the sealed coffins in a bored tone. It was becoming extremely hard not to go over and start prying the lids off the coffins. Suddenly he heard one of the coffins click and release a hiss. Finally, who is coming out now? The blonde-haired man wondered. As the lid swung open a woman stepped out. Her skin pale, even before being sealed. Her skin being more sheen as her long dark purple hair flowed down her back. Sporting a Chinese dress that showed some cleavage and had a split on either side of her thighs. Taking a look around she spotted the blonde-haired man, sighing she rubbed her head. Weren't you supposed to be let out last? The woman asked. I think I was, don't remember. I've just been bored waiting on you guys. Now I want to go fight something or someone. The man told her. Well, let's get out of here and grab some food. Our host should be outside with some. The woman informed the man before stepping up to the door and waving her hand over it. The door crumbled into dust as the woman waved her hand. She then went back to the coffins and waved her hand again. The objects returning to the same shape they had been when first used. The woman stepped up to one of them that had a heart carved on it. "My daughter, hurry so we can be reunited. It's been so long. I have missed you so much, my angel," the woman told the coffin. Another coffin, a snake carved into it, clicked and released a hiss. A man stepped out, stretching his arms. One eye closed due to scarring, while the other purple serpent eye looked around at the cave. His maroon hair blown back, a purple serpent with wings draping across his shoulders. He sported a black shirt with crimson pants and a white trench coat. "Am I too late?" the man asked. "No, you are right on time. Of course we have one who was too early," the woman explained. Who was that?" the man asked, then looking past the doorway he frowned. He spotted the blonde-haired man sitting next to a fire that had been made in the large cavern past the doorway. "Oh, him. Why did we have him sealed with us?" the man asked the woman as he walked past her, smelling fresh air mixed with cooking meat. "We needed his strength and combat prowess," the woman informed the man. Sighing, the man shook his head. "Why couldn't we had sealed Grey or even Lion?" he asked. Upon hearing the name Grey, the woman turned and kicked the man in the back of the head. "Never say that name again. I can never forgive that bastard. Not for as long as I live," the woman told the man furiously. "The FFT, so easily riled," the man commented her, then left to eat. He was starving after being sealed up for ages. "Soon we will take control of this world and shape it to our image," the woman stated to the midnight black coffin. Naruto can only cloak himself, bending the light and shadows to make it look like he has disappeared. So Hinata can notice certain things after being around the blonde for so long, even without a Byakugan. So Hinata has met Naruto's family and she has accepted Anko as one of Naruto's precious people. I know that Hinata is a more timid person. Though due to Naruto's influence on her over the years and the slight change in her father, she is more confident in herself. I would also like to say that I borrowed part of the Hokage monument scene from the dragon container by Naruhina. B ranks are hell. Kohinakager, nighttime. In the middle of Kohinakager was a bar. Not just any bar, this one had a backroom access that only a few privileged were allowed in. The only way to enter this backroom was to be formally invited or be brought as a +1. It was in this place that elite shinobi could relax, calm themselves or even cut loose every once in a while. The Whispering Lotus. I've only heard that elites could be allowed access. What are we doing here? Hinata asked. Hinata was dressed in a snug black dress that curved in all the right places, complementing her flared hips and large bust. Her dragon pendant setting perfectly above her cleavage. Finishing the outfit were a pair of dusty purple spiked heels. We thought that you and Narukan should have at least one memory of where he is not scorned other than Ichiraku Ramen and a handful of shinobi shops. Anko explained as he walked arm in arm with Naruto. A tan dress shirt that the top buttons were undone to allow view, her fox talisman pulling the focus to her assets. Skillfully accompanied by a rusty brown thigh-length skirt with a pair of brown leather stilettos. "So, we are going to an elite backroom bar?" Naruto asked, nervous that they might be not treated right. Even with the promise of a release from the hated and disgusted looks that he had become used to. Naruto was dressed in a formal shirt with a dragon motif wrapping around his torso, its head laying on his right shoulder. Pair with black dress slacks and polished dress shoes. "No, you've heard of rumors that the Whispering Lotus. I'll be the first to tell you that the rumors are true. Now for the rules of the Whispering Lotus. Rule number 1, masks are worn at all times and no names given, no one is to know who you are other than the company that you enter with. Rule number 2, you don't accept any drinks from anyone but the bartender or staff. Rule number 3, no matter what happens you leave with who you came in with. Rule number 4, no weapons, jutsus, or seals allowed in there. The final rule, no matter what happens do not fight or defend yourself when attacked. Breaking of these rules result in not only the revoking of the person's membership. They may also end up in taking a trip to the hospital that will leave them in the ICU or even the coma ward for a few months. Karini explained, her red satin dress leaving little to the imagination as it hiked up to mid-thigh. The V-cut flared at the top and came to a point just below the top of stomach. She wore a pair of crimson red heels to pull it all together. The group came to a set of stairs leading to a single door with a white blooming lotus painted onto it. The group stopped at the door, Anko held up her hand. She then knocked, 2 short raps, 3 hard knocks, paused, then finished with a hard knock. The eye slit opened up revealing a pair of golden eyes, it did a quick look before sliding closed. Another larger access point slide opened to reveal 3 black masks and 1 white. Black for the ladies, white for the gentlemen. Remember the rules and do enjoy yourselves. A voice behind the lotus informed them. Once the masks were situated onto the group's faces, the wall to the right of them parted to reveal a staircase leading down. The light coming from the staircase was light red, gave off a warmth as if in a lover's embrace. Karini and Hinata led the way, moving down the stairs elegantly, as if they were walking through the softest silk. Karinia's arm was under Hinata's with her hand slightly tipped and Hinata's hand on top. Anko on the other hand was having a hard time with the stiff form of Naruto, finally having enough the pair stopped their descent. "Naruto, nothing will happen. You need to relax, have fun." Anko told him with a smile, she then gently kissed him. The blonde started to relax a little bit more after his Hibiheim told him to. After a few moments, Naruto took a deep breath and nodded. With this they continued their descent. Karini and Hinata were off to the side of the entrance, calmly waiting for the pair. With a nod from Naruto showing that he was fine, the group entered the Whispering Lotus. Whatever rumors that Naruto and Hinata had heard were put to shame. They entered into a red velvet room, the light were dimmed and the air was filled with a light incense that relaxed the mood of any high-strung shinobi that had either had too much on their plate or they had just come off a high-stressed mission. There were around a dozen booths lining the walls, only about a fourth of them were filled. A handful of people were loitering the bar which was in the middle of the room set against the back, the front half was a polished grey marble dance floor. A few couples were gently swaying to the steady stream of soft music. The host appeared as the group of shinobi entered. He held a tray out to them, Karini and Anko both set their shinobi ids on the tray. "Mistresses Hebe and Rose, would you like your normal booth or a more accommodating setting? Also, are your guests to be allowed access or are they just a +1 for now? We would like a private booth. Our guests are just a +1 for now. Virgin drinks for them," Anko told their host. "Understood, I'll make note of future Lotus's members. May I have your names?" the host inquired. "Yes, I am High Starlight," Hinata told the man, almost missing rule number 1. "Mr. Starlight, and you sir?" the man asked to the still slightly anxious Naruto as he wrote Hinata's name into the logbook. "Kitsune," Naruto informed the man. "Ah, Master Kitsune. I believe you have several people here who did not enjoy what you had done on Double Z Day. I myself was quite adamant of the events that had been set up, the host informed Naruto. "Thank you, it is always nice to meet a fan," Naruto complimented the man. "If you'll follow me, I will set you in room P3. The host informed them, leading them to a small private hallway that were lined with half a dozen doors. Stopping at the door that labeled P3, the host produced a small keyring, holding 7 keys. Unlocking the door, the host stepped back and bowed to the group, allowing them to enter. "I will have a more diverse member of our staff join you in a few moments. The bar is to your left, if you wish for a song the entertainment system is to the right. Enjoy your time at the Whispering Lotus," the host explained, then left. "Wow, this had to be super expensive," Naruto commented, looking at the rich satin couches that sat against the wall. A high-end stereo system was equipped with over 1,000 songs. Hinata started to look through them as they enjoyed each other's company. Anko and Karinia sat on one of the couches, suddenly the couch started to slightly heat and vibrate. "Oh my god. I'm in love with this couch," Anko told the group, her stress melting as the heat and vibrations relaxed the snake mistress's body. A few moments later a knock was heard at the door. Opening it, a woman with light green hair and a green and blue feathered mask stood in front waiting for permission to enter. "Good evening, I'm Kujaku. I'll be your bartender for this evening," Kujaku informed them as she set herself behind the bar. "The Kyuubi, 1 virgin Kyuubi. An angel dust and some sparkling cider," Karinia ordered. "Yes, mistress." Kujaku bowed slightly, they started to mix the drinks. In a show of flair and expertise that left the 2+1s in awe. Kujaku set up the glasses and started spinning 2 bottles in her hand. She tipped the bottles forward and filled 2 of the glasses a little with 2 different liquids, crossing the streams a couple of times before adding some hot sauce to one and some lavender petals to the other. Kujaku then turned and made the same as the first Kyuubi, except with spice juice. To finalize the order, she pulled a long stem champagne glass out and popped the cork on a bottle of apple cider, filling the glass to a breath from the top. Kujaku placed the orders on a tray, carrying them as if they were made of the most fragile objects in the world. She set them on the small table in front of the couches, she then pulled out a packet of matches and lit the 2 Kyuubis on fire. "If that is all?" Kujaku asked, bowing. Karinia nodded, allowing the bartender to return to her station. "DB, a Kyuubi. Kitsune, you'll have to have the virgin Kyuubi. Trust me, the real drink is so much better. Sparkling cider for Starlight and finally angel dust for myself." Karinia rattled off, grabbing her drink and sipping it lightly. After the drink she sighed in content. "Are all the staff here shinobi?" Naruto asked the 2 older women. "Yes they are, they do this for fun or relaxation, even though the staff gets paid an average of a small B-ranked mission," Anko explained, sipping on her drink. Her face turned a slightly darker red as she blew some steam out of her mouth. "Fujaku, may I ask what your field of expertise is?" Hinata inquired at the bartender. "I am a ninjutsu specialist mixed with some taijutsu. I put a show on every second Saturday of the month here. If you wish to see it, I'm sure I can make an arrangement, Mr. Starlight," Fujaku informed Hinata. Suddenly a loud thump could be heard on the other side of the wall behind the bar. Reaching up, Fujaku tapped her mask twice, the mask switched to a reddish color with a band of gold. "Fujaku, we need you to restrain an accompaniment in P5, thank you." A voice suddenly spoke over an intercom. "Never a calm day. Just one day, is that too much to ask?" "Threat level?" Fujaku asked. "Code green, light measures. Please escort Master Hound and Mr. Stigerus out," the voice replied. "Revoking of membership or wrist slap?" Fujaku tried to confirm. "Wrist slap, they just had too much to drink. No harmful intent noted, just an accident," the voice replied. "If you'll excuse me, mistresses and master. I'll return," Fujaku told them as she headed to the door. As Fujaku left, Naruto looked to Anko with a confused look. The codes had thrown him off. Green, blue, yellow, orange, and finally red. Green is mostly people get too happy with their drinks, blue and up are more physical. Nia-chan and I have been coming here for a couple years, we've only heard of one orange incident. That was when an Inuyasha was shit-faced and tried to fornicate with his animal partner. On the main dance floor. Something you never want to see or think about. Unless you are into that. Anko smirked as both Naruto and Hinata blushed. There has been only one code red since this place had opened, only then did the owner appear to stop the debate. It was a good thing too, apparently the jutsus that the people were going to use were at least in A rank. Anyways, let's just enjoy our drinks and then be on our way. Karinia added to the explanation. Naruto sipped on his virgin Kyuubi. It was spicy, yet it felt undermined. As if the kick was missing. "Rose-chan, you are right, this one is weak." "I know, right, I had the Kyuubi one time and it felt like my face was on fire. It started to burn my core, I never thought water would taste so sweet." Karinia sighed, finishing her drink. After a few more hours of just relaxing and enjoying the company of each other, the group headed out. Anko wobbled out more than walked, aided by Naruto and Karinia. The host had showed them to their room bowed as they left. "Please return when you feel the world is too loud. The lotus will reduce it to a whisper." Kohinakager Shinobi Academy, team placement. It had been a few days after the graduation exam. Naruto and Hinata were both a little anxious to find out which team they would be on. Iruka stood at the front of the class smiling proudly at the class that had been his pride and joy for the last 4 years. "My student, after today I will not be able to enjoy your company for 8 hours a day. I do wish you luck and bless you for the years to come." Iruka speeched quickly, now team placements. Team 1 will be. "Naru-kun, no matter what team we are placed on. I'll always make time for you," Hinata promised. "I know my Haim. It'll just be a little harder not being able to see your beauty every day," Naruto complimented. "Oh you. If you keep teasing me, I might have to tell Toussaint to draw up a marriage contract," Hinata teased back. Naruto chalked a little at the mention of being married. Though due to the craw that Tsurutobi informed him that he needed to have at least several candidates for marriage by the age of 18. Teammate will consist of Shino Aburam, Hinata Hyuga, and Naruto Uzumaki. Your instructor will be suddenly a ball of cloth shot into the classroom, unfurling to read Anko Mitarashi, Jonin of Team 6 tracking, retrieval and torture. "Okay, which one of you lucky people are my team?" Anko asked the stunned class. Noticing Naruto, she read the sign he had held up 4 tenths, Hinata had one that read 5 tenths. Eyes that was at least a 7. "What did I do wrong?" Anko complained childishly. "A smoke bomb and maybe a flash bomb would have boosted you to a 7. If you had rode in on Kisha after the bombs, I would have given you an 8. Maybe a 9. Naruto stated. Hinata nodded next to him, "You also could have been a little bit scarier. And the smoke bomb would have had to been colored," she commented. Shino nodded at the insane woman, agreeing with his teammates. "You could have done better. But that I'm guessing you 3 are my team. Okay, meet me at training ground 44. Or as I like to call it, home. 10 minutes or one of my pets can escort you," Anko explained. "Hinata?" Naruto asked, holding out his arms. "Let's go. I'm good without an escort." Hinata accepted in a scared tone. Hopping into his arms, bridal style. Naruto sped off, leaving a breeze behind him. Shino looked at the Jonin sensei puzzled. Anko did a few hand signs, and a small cloud poofed. Out of the cloud a snake as tall as Anko appeared. "Mida, it seems that we have a slow learner here. Could you please escort him to the house?" Anko asked in a sweet voice that promised pain. "But please sure, Mistress Anko," Mida replied before striking out at the bug boy. "Oh, fuck. was all that came out of Shino's mouth as he took off. The class was frozen for a few seconds after the ordeal was over. What the hell just happened? Iruka asked, the only answer he had returned to him was silence. Training ground 44 Forest of Death, 5 minutes later. Asping slight Shino was needless to say pissed off, sweat was pouring off him. He had made it in the time frame. It didn't help that his new sensei's pet had nipped at his heels every other second, forcing him to stay at a dead run. Naruto-san, who is this crazy bitch? The usual static bug user breaking face. Oh, this is Anko Haim. Naruto stated, having reached the training ground 3 minutes earlier with Hinata. Anko clicked a pocket watch open. Looking at it, then at the teens, she shook her head. Blondie, I had expected you to be here in less than 30 seconds. Pale eyes, you should have be here in 4 minutes if you had ran by yourself. Finally, bug boy, you were 30 seconds too late. Now for introductions. Let's start with the blonde gaki. Anko criticized the 3 teens as she shut the watch. Anko-sensei. What do you mean introductions, could you explain? Hinata asked. Sure. My name is Anko Mitarashi. My likes are dango, snakes, various forms of torture, and a certain gaki. My dislikes are a certain snake pedophile, people who can't look underneath the underneath. My dreams are to get revenge on said pedophile and be happy again. Anko told the group. Now, Blondie. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. My likes are ramen, training, and my haims. My dislikes are people who can't tell the difference between a sword and a sheath, people who think others are disposable, and the 3 minutes it take to cook ramen. My dream is to become strong to protect the ones I love and make sure they are happy for the rest of their lives. Naruto rattled off. Okay, pale eyes. You're next. Anko pointed to Hinata. My name is Hinata Hyuga. My likes are baking, gardening, trying to perfect my own style of jukin and Narukan. My dislikes are people who treat others like dirt, people who hurt others just for fun, and the Keigo no Tori no Jun. My dreams are to one day bring my clan back together and to be happy with the ones I love. Hinata told her team, blushing slightly near the end. Finally, Buggy. Anko motioned to Shino. My name is Shino Aburam. My likes are researching insects and meditating. My dislikes are people who refer to others as insects, chemical insecticides, and the squashing of the more helpful bugs. My dreams are to become a strong clan head and to discover new species of insects. Shino stated in a monotone voice. This is an interesting team the Hokage set up for me. Okay, that's all for today. Meet me here at 8 in the morning. We'll have the test then. Anko told them. What, why would we have to take another test? Didn't we just graduate? Naruto asked, the 3 teens confused. Do you really think that thing they call a test meant you were actual shinobi of the village? No, that was to weed out the hopefuls. Tomorrow you'll take a test to see if you can actually become shinobi. Anko explained, showing no remorse. Anko then smiled sweetly, one that promised pain and death. Try not to bore me too bad. Flashback, 1 day ago, Hokage's office. Sarutobi sat looking at the papers in front of him. He had just finalized the team positions. Looking up, the red-eyed woman standing before him was pissed at the Hokage. He had taken the chance she had to watch over the child she considered a sister. Why are you not taking my request, Hokage? Karinia asked the aged man. Do not mistake me denying your request. You are a capable shinobi, but you need to focus on your physical form. I also think you need to try to have a stronger emotional and mental structure. I just believe that you are not ready to command a team. Sarutobi explained to the Jonin. Then who will get Team 8? Karinia asked the old shinobi. Anko will take command of Team 8. She is more than capable of handling those 3. I also think this will be a good experience for her. Commanding a team may help her grow more and become more steadfast rather than headstrong. Sarutobi explained his reasoning to the Jinjutsu mistress. I still think that you should have let me take command of Team 6. The Jonin finished as she left his office. Anko needs to have more connections to this village rather than just the hate of her former sensei. I hope this team can help, Sarutobi thought to himself, hoping that he had made the correct choice. Training ground 44 Forest of Death, day after team selections. It was 15 minutes too late when the 3 teens appeared in front of the main gate to the training ground. Ah, hello my little victims. Are you ready for your test? A sadistic-sounding voice asked the teens. Looking up they saw their sensei standing on a branch of one of the large trees. Jumping down, Anko pulled out a timer. Okay maggots, here's what your test will be. As we are going to be a tracking and recovery type team, if you pass. You will have to find and return 1 Anko tag within 2 hours. Each tag will be placed on one of my pets. It will be your choice on how to approach this test. Anko explained to the 3 teens. Anko sat on a rock just inside the large fenced-in training ground, she summoned 3 person-sized snake. One was Mida, whom Shino had the experience of becoming acquainted with. The other two were her little brother and sister, Midian and Tiro. Okay, I'll partner you up with your target. Buggy, since you and Mida are such great friends. You can have her. Blondie, you'll take Midian. Finally Pale Eyes, you'll have Tiro. Anko placed a tag on each of her pets' heads. We'll give them a 5-minute head start. Pale Eyes, no Byakugan until the 5 minutes are up. Buggy, don't place your insects on them. Now that we got that covered. Let's begin, shall we? Anko nodded to the snakes, who slithered off into the woods. 5 minutes later, Anko turned the clock to 2 hours. Flee my little victims, flee and claim your quarry. Muhahaha. The teens sweat-dropped at their insane sensei's antics and rushed into the woods. Let's see if they can understand the true meaning behind this little test. Anko said out loud as soon as the teens were far enough away. She then pulled out a plate of dango and started to consume the sweets. Teammate, 5 kilometers into the forest of death. Okay guys, we have 3 targets. Anybody got an idea how to capture them? Naruto asked his teammates. I see all the targets, but they have split. Shino, Mida is 2 kilometers to the east. Naruto, Midian is the same to the west. My quarry is up ahead. Hinata commented, her Byakugan flared. Okay, so we have the locations. The question is how to get the tags. Naruto asked the group. I have an idea, but we would have to work together. Shino suggested. Okay. Shino, what's the plan? Naruto asked. After a few moments the group split up, tracking and locating their quarry. But Naruto. What an ugly skin color. And I thought toads looked gross, covered in that mucus. At least they don't have to shed their skin to change clothes. Hahaha. Naruto teased the Midian. Midian cocked an unseen eyebrow as the blonde container started to speak, but when he heard the comment about being compared to a toad, something in the snake snapped. Midian curled up and struck at the blonde. Wow, and so slow too. Are you sure that you're not a worm with teeth? Naruto insulted the large reptile. Midian was enraged and rushed the shinobi. Time and time again it struck, just missing each time. Seeing Naruto had done his job, he rushed back to the meeting place. Throwing a few insults every few seconds so that his quarry stayed with him. But Shino. Shino stood in front of Mida. The two stared at each other, neither one moving. Mida-san, shall we have a rematch from yesterday? Shino inquired the large serpent. Why sold I? Mida asked, being cautious. Intrigued that the bug user had not tried anything. I was caught off guard. Shino stated, waiting for a reaction. Plus, I really think your agility is lacking. Tiro seemed to have a more slender form based for agility. Mida looked at the shinobi as if he had said something stupid. Her agility was lacking, she was the quickest of her siblings. Her speed was next to none in the Hibi clan other than Manda, who had experience. Very well, what is the contest? Mida asked the boy. We race for 3 kilometers. If you lose, I claim your tag. Shino stated. What if I sold, win? Mida inquired. You can use me as your plaything. Shino replied. Interesting. I accept. Mida confirmed. Let's begin. Shino stated, running back the way he came. Mida rushed after the Aburum, easily catching up to him and stayed pace with him. Shino smirked slightly behind the collar of his jacket, the plan was coming together. He hoped that his teammates were doing their parts. But Hinata. Hiro was slithering through the forest, taking this task her mistress had given her seriously. Failure meant that she was to be punished. Tiro did not like to be punished. Sensing something near her, Tiro turned to see Hinata drawing back her fist. The large snake dodged the strike, curling onto herself. Turning to flee, she had to dodge again as Hinata struck at the large reptile. Hold still, I want a new handbag. Hinata stated, driving the snake back the way it had came. Hinata knew that she had to drive it back to the meeting place. She just hoped that the plan would work. Clearing in the woods. Midian had lost his target. It had been several minutes since he had last spotted him. Coming into the clearing, he flicked his Tanyuj to sense where his victim was. The snake sensed nothing. His target wasn't here, he went to slither back into the woods. Suddenly he caught sight of the blonde shimmering into place in the middle of the clearing. I'm over here you slither wallet. Naruto insulted. Seeing red the reptile went to strike at the shinobi. As the snake reached the blonde teen, something slammed into him. Turning to the new target, he hissed. Only to see his sister Mida shaking her head. What's the meaning of this? Midian asked Mida. Where is the Aburum? Mida retorted, he insulted my speed. I have no idea where that shinobi is. Midian told his sister, he then turned back to his prey. Naruto had disappeared in the confusion between the two summons. Suddenly there was a crashing sound as the snakes turned to see one of the smaller trees fall. From the under the tree Tiro rapidly slithered to her siblings. Help, this bitch is trying to kill me. Tiro exclaimed in fear. I told you to hold still, you scaled worm. Hinata told the snake. Naruto then appeared next to Hinata. Hime, we have them. Shino jumped down from a tree next to the two. Step 1 complete, time for step 2. Shino stated, revealing to the snakes that they had been duped. Sit. All 3 snakes said at the same time. Shino, make sure they can't get away. Hinata, go in for close combat. Try to paralyze them. I'll act as support for both of you. Let's get this done, we have 30 minutes left. Naruto ordered his teammates as they set to the tasks given to them. Naruto threw a white ball of light into the snake siblings, Dragon Slayer Arts, Dragon Flare. The light exploded outwards, blinding the snakes. Confused, the 3 reptiles turned to flee into the woods. Only to be stopped by a wall of bugs, the wall spread until the reptiles were surrounded. Insect labyrinth, Shino stated, standing outside the wall of bugs. Suddenly Hinata appeared in front of Mida, knowing that she was the quickest of the 3. This was the one that had to be taken out first. Striking out quickly, Hinata hit a couple of pressure points on her. Mida collapsed in a pile. Shaking his head to clear his sight from the flash, Midian saw his sister being struck down by the Hyuga. Enraged that they were so easily fooled, he went to strike the Hyuga. Dragon Slayer Arts, Metal Claw. Naruto shouted, his arms turning grey as he slashed down at the snake. Midian dodged the attack, slamming into the wall of bugs. The bugs started to drain the snake's chakra, quickly moving away he went to shake off the bugs. You guys need to hurry, I'm losing chakra fast. You got about 30 more seconds, Shino thought to himself, feeling his chakra draining quickly from the use of the high-level jutsu. Inside the wall of bugs, Hinata was having a hard time taking out Tiro. After witnessing her sister being struck down and her brother fighting the blonde shinobi, she turned her attention to the pale-eyed Hyuga. Slithering in and out of the Hyuga's reach, Hinata was tiring slightly from striking the snake. Tiro finally slithered inside the pale-eyed shinobi's defense and constricted her, squeezing the shinobi. Gasping, Hinata quickly thought of a way to get out of the situation as Naruto was fighting Midian, who was starting to slip and make mistakes. Shino's insects draining the snake's chakra slowly. Finally, she only had one idea that might work. Hey, you slithering pair of heels. Face me like a true snake would. Hinata insulted her captor. Hiro's face suddenly flashed into view of the Hyuga. What was that, little mouse? What I said was this. Hinata stated, then leaned her head back as far as she could. Then did the most un-Hyuga-like thing ever in a battle. Slamming her head forward, she headbutted the snake. Startled by the sudden hit, the snake loosened her body. This allowed Hinata to strike several points on the snake, throwing the snake to the sideline for the rest of the test. Naruto jumped into the air, flashing a few hand signs. Flipping, he brought his foot down onto the Midian's head. Dragon Slayer Arts. Metal Sledgehammer kicked out, slamming his foot down on the reptile's head, which in turn slammed into the ground. A small crater was formed under the duress of the attack. As the attack hit, Shino's insect labyrinth started to drop. Seeing that it was no longer needed, Shino released the jutsu. His chakra being replenished a bit by the reptilian chakra his Kakechu drained from the snake. We did it. Shino confirmed, gasping slightly as the strain started to set in. Yeah, but we still got to get the tags back to Anko. Naruto informed his teammates. We have 20 minutes left. We better hurry. Hinata reminded them. The 3 teams grabbed their respective Anko tags. With their prize in hand, they rushed back to the starting site of the test. As the teens leapt out of sight, Mida brought her head up, cracking her neck slightly. What do you guys think about the mistress's choice? She asked her siblings. I think they will be satisfactory. Tiro commented. I know the blonde hits hard enough. Midian stated, shaking his head slightly. But your thick's call, I'm surprised. Mida teased her brother. We must inform Mistress Anko of the results. Tiro interrupted her siblings before they could start bickering. Yes. The 2 siblings agreed, remembering why they had been summoned. With that they poofed away. With Anko. Anko sat watching the timer click down. Just as the timer started to go off, her team landed. All of them panting hard, 2 of them sweating more than the third. You made it. Do you have the tags? Anko asked. Each team held up their respective tag, showing that they each had the one assigned to them. Very well done, my young maggots. Anko congratulated them. Now, what was the true meaning of this test? Anko asked the teens. Teamwork. Hinata stated, finally regaining her breath. Wiping sweat from her brow and face. Correct. How did you come to this? Anko inquired. Well, the 3 tags were to make us split up and force us to face each one by ourselves. Shino started steadying out his ragged breathing. Yet, judging how Shino was barely dodging Mida's advances yesterday, we figured that we couldn't take them on in single combat. Naruto continued. So we came up with a plan, draw the targets into a desired location. Then trap and disable the targets. Hinata finished, nodding to her teammates. Naruto smiled broadly, while Shino smirked slightly. Excellent choices. Just remember, there are enemies out there that are stronger and more cunning. So we have to protect each other. If one of us should become wounded or fall in battle, now to never leave a comrade behind. Anko stated, looking down proudly at her team. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day, maggots. 'Cause tomorrow we'll start learning the art of the Mitarashi torture sessions. Anko smiled broadly. An air of pain and suffering seeping from her. Be here at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll figure out a plan to improve you guys, and then we'll take on some missions. Tia-sensei. The three genin answered, leaving the training ground. Next day, Kohinakaga mission hall. Teammates stood at attention of the Hokage, waiting for their first official mission. Anko, do you believe that your team is ready for a mission of their status? Saratobi asked the Jonin sensei in a serious tone. I do, Hokage-sama. Anko replied, standing at attention. Your first mission shall be Hokage look through the scrolls, teammate anticipating at what they might get. Take out a band of ruse bandits, hunt down a ruse shinobi, or escorting a high-ranking official. All of these thoughts went through the young genin's minds. Babysitting a council member's grandchildren. Saratobi stated. The looks on the faces of teammate were priceless. Naruto's eyes were wide with disbelief, Hinata was bewildered, and Shino had fell onto his ass in shock. Anko pulled out a camera and took a quick picture of her team's expressions. That's a keeper. Hahaha. Anko told them laughing at her team. Several weeks later, Kohinakaga, Northern Park. This is Blondie, target spotted. I too also have eyes on the target. Same. Anko pressed on the comm link, begin operation. After successful capture, confirm target. Hi. 3 voice spoke. Suddenly there was a loud yowling, some cursing, and a couple poofs. Suddenly everything went silent. Target captured, confirmed target to be Tora. AKA. The demon cat of Kohinakaga. Hinata spoke into her comm link. Awesome. Let's go collect our pay. Anko told her team. Naruto and Shino's clothes were in tatters as Tora tried to claw the 2 teens to death. Hinata was about to paralyze the animal, only to be stopped by Anko. Now my little maggots, no harming the pet of the Fire Daimo's wife. Anko told them, holding back the laughter of seeing her team be tormented by the demon cat. I swear if we have to catch this bitch again. I'm going to skin it and make a new loincloth. Naruto told her. Shino and Hinata nodding in agreement with their blonde teammate. Over the last couple of weeks the team had completed numerous D-ranked missions, ranging from clearing fields to washing out the Inuyasha dog kennels. These D-ranked missions were insults to shinobi. These missions were no more than chores that civilians were too lazy to complete on their own time. So they hired out shinobi to complete the mundane tasks for them. Soon teammate entered the mission hall, still carrying the struggling Tora. As the cat was returned to the crushing grip of the Fire Daimo's wife, teammate couldn't but feel satisfaction at the torture of the animal. Dear Kami, Anko-sensei is starting to rub off on us, all 3 of the genins thought at the same time. Weeks of being around the insane sadistic jonin had started to twist their way of thinking. Even the stoic Shino was starting to have a little more emotional expressions. They would start every day by meeting at training ground 44, or rather they started to call it home. Anko would then run them through team building exercises, consisting of a game of capture the flag to a high-stake game of tag. The jonin also started teaching them chakra control by forcing them to run up and down trees while dodging kunai that Anko threw at them. If they were quick enough, they got away. If not, they received small nicks all over body. After an hour or 2 of this they broke off to do individual training that Anko had prescribed, would be putting it loosely. Shino trained in physical endurance. Over the past couple of weeks, Mida and him had sprouted an interesting friendship. What started as Mida hunting the bug user soon turned into the 2 competing with each other in races or games of tag. Hinata and Naruto would spar against the snake mistress and improve on the flaws each time. Anko started teaching Hinata how to introduce a more fluid set of moves into the Jukin form. Naruto would train by himself, learning more of the legendary dragon slaying art. He also started to work with his enhanced senses, blindfolding himself while he tracked different animals. Short to say that the genin were far stronger than what they had been almost a month before. Shino had cut the sleeves on his jacket so that he had more movement. To make up for the loss of his jacket sleeves, he wore a double-layered long-sleeve shirt. He also had a medium-sized pouch on his back containing specialized goodies for setting and distracting traps. Naruto sported a silver and red short-sleeve shirt that had a dragon's head stitched over the right side of the shirt. His pants were shorter than the usual, one side ended at his knee, while the other reached mid-thigh with leather strips crossing to reach down to his knee. Leather gauntlets covered his arms from his elbows to his hands, etched with what seemed to be dragon scales. Hinata had shedded her jacket, rather wearing a tight form-fitting top that showed her toned stomach. Accompanying this was an open purple coat that reached just above her backside. The bottoms, cut to shin length with leather straps crisscrossing down, attaching to her footwear. Back to the moment at hand, teammate was now waiting for their next assignment. Rather praying to be released for the day so they could heal their wounds. Saratobi scanned the mission records for teammate, as of today they had completed 35 D rank missions. It was 15 more than needed to take a C rank mission. Well, let's see. We have several more D rank missions that require our attention. You can help a farmer near the outskirts clear a field, walk the Inyazaka's dogs, trim the trees around the Nara's deer farm, or babysit. Saratobi started to inform them of the missions. Fuck. That. Shit. Naruto stated. His teammates agreeing with the loud blonde. We are not doing any more fucking chores. The blonde told the aged Hokage. Naruto, you and your team are not ready for missions outside the village. There are certain restrictions that are placed so that fresh genin do not get killed in the line of duty. Haruka started to explain, his lecture mode starting. And that is why you will be doing D ranks until your Jonin sensei thinks you are capable of high rank missions. Haruka ended his lecture. Danko, that was 2 centimeters off the mark, you have to give up Dango for 48 hours. Hinata told the Jonin. What, I swore that it was dead on. Anko complained, the hurt of losing her favorite food crushing her. That seems like a wonderful idea to try out with a roast. What if you used sage rather than garlic? Shino asked, his mouth being wet from the recipe that the blonde commented on. I actually didn't think about that. It would still keep the spark of the meat without the extra heaviness. Naruto commented. Are you guys even listening? Haruka asked the group of insane shinobi. You were saying something, Haruka? The group asked, to which Haruka's sweat dropped. I was saying. Haruka started again, only to be stopped by Anko. We know what you were saying, Haruka-san, you just forget that they are no longer students. Rather they are genin of Kohinakager, under my leadership. So in the nicest possible way, fuck off. Anko told the shocked chunin. But Haruka started, only to be stopped again. This time by Saratobi. She is correct, Haruka. They are no longer your students, you must let them go. Now, back to the task at hand. Teammate, do you think you are ready to be assigned a mission of a higher caliber? Saratobi asked. Hi, Hokage-sama. The team told him. Fine, this just came in. One of our own has turned traitor, stealing the forbidden scroll and fled to the north. You are to track the shinobi and retrieve the scroll. If possible, capture the traitor and return him also. Saratobi told the team. What is the target's name? Anko asked the old man. Mizuki. Your target has a 5-hour lead. I suggest you hop to. Saratobi told them. Hi. The team replied. Okay, you guys have 10 minutes to grab your supplies and meet me at the northern gate. Even 1 second late and you get to have a special training when we get back. Anko promised her team. North gate, 5 minutes later. Teammate all landed at the gate. Anko stood waiting for them, seeing that they were prepared for anything that was to happen. No time like the present. Let's go. Anko ordered the team, with that they took off after the trail of their prey. Naruto out front, his enhanced sense of smell holding the trail. Hinata was behind him, her Byakugan active. Shino was to the left of Hinata, while Anko was to the right. The team watched for traps that could have been set in case of pursuit. Even though their quarry had a head start on them, carrying such a load as the forbidden scroll would tire them. Soon the tracks showed fatigue, signs of rest here and there. Okay, we are 100 kilometers from the land of rice. He might be meeting someone as he has slowed. Anko informed her team. We need to be cautious, remember our objective is to obtain and return the forbidden scroll. If we can, capture the traitor Mizuki. If not, we must terminate him. The genin nodded, knowing that one of them would have their first blood today. All of them were frightened, not knowing if today would be their last. Let's get ready. Anko told them, seeing that she could not prepare them any more than what she had. 50 kilometers from the border, land of fire, night. Night had fallen some hours ago. Mizuki was waiting by a river, his senses on high alert for any pursuit teams that might show up. My. So jumpy. A voice called from the other side of the river. I'm being cautious. My village would have sent a tracker team out after the scroll. Mizuki told the voice. The cloaked figure emerged from the tree line, hopping across the river. The figure landed in front of Mizuki. As promised, I will escort you to the Hokage. Once there you will be given the rank of Jonin when you turn over the forbidden scroll of Kohinagaker. The figure explained. Let's be off then. Mizuki told the figure, satisfied at the statement. Suddenly a volley of kunai and shuriken appeared from the other side of the river aimed at the two. The two quickly separated, being pushed back by the volley. We were followed. The figure told Mizuki. I was careful, I covered my tracks well. Mizuki informed the figure. Apparently they are well trained in the art of tracking. The figure replied. Suddenly teammate appeared, Hinata and Shino covered both sides of Mizuki, while Anko and Naruto covered the cloaked figure. Mizuki for the theft of the Forbidden Scroll and the defection to the village of Otagakure. You have been charged with treason and are to be escorted back to the village of Kohinagakure. Or you can resist and be killed. Anko stated to the ex-chunin. Please resist, it's much more fun. Even though Anko is on a more personal level with Hinata and Naruto, the duty of being the team leader and their sensei came before personal feelings. Dragon Slayer Art. Dragon Flare, C-rank jutsu, causes a temporary flash to blind and disorientate the target or group. Insect Labyrinth, B-rank jutsu, creates a wall from the use of Kakechu to surround the target or group, cutting off any escape. Dragon Slayer Art. Metal Sledgehammer Kick, C-rank jutsu, covers the user's legs in a hard metal substance, allowing extra damage to be done to the target. Who is the cloaked figure? Will teammate be able to retrieve the Forbidden Scroll? So guys, how am I faring on this crossover? I wouldn't have thought I would get this far, but here I am. I'll start introducing the character from the world of fairy tale to the Naruto world over the next few chapters. The Forbidden Scroll Retrieval. Mizuki had his hands full defending against a more fluid style of Jukin and dodging the Kakechu from the Aburum. He had abandoned the Forbidden Scroll so that he could fight unburdened. Pulling the large shuriken off his back, he threw it at the Aburum, forcing him to dodge. He then turned and focused on the Hyuga, this person being the more dangerous out of the two. The cloaked figure was easily dodging and evaded the close combat form of Anko, who was using her improved Hibi-style taijutsu. Naruto supported her, waiting for an opening on the figure so that he could strike also. Suddenly the cloak snagged on a kunai that Naruto thrown at the figure. Anko saw this opening and went to strike. Only to grab the cloak that was abandoned by the now recognizable female. She had bright red hair that peeked out of a black skull cap, the edge wrapped in bandages. Her attire was a simple brown tunic that went down to her knees, leather bracers on her forearms, black shorts, and her shins were wrapped in bandages. Damn bitch, that was my favorite cloak. You ass munching, cunt licker. The woman told her. Wow, do you kiss your mother with that mouth? Anko asked the Odo shinobi. Wouldn't you like to fucking know? Now shut up bitch, so I can take this sorry ass back to Otagakure, the woman told Anko. No. Now be a good girl and run back to your leader and tell him to fuck off. Anko told the woman. My leader, huh? He would be so disappointed in you. Seeing as you haven't even tried to use your curse seal yet. The woman insulted Anko. Anko flinched at what the woman said, that was all the time the redhead needed to jump back and produce a flute from her pouch. Now enjoy the music, bitch. The woman stated, then started to play a melody on the flute. Upon hearing the sounds, Anko froze as the flute user phased out of existence. Naruto wasn't doing any better as his acute hearing made the effect even worse. Suddenly a shock of energy was sent through the two. Hinata stood panting, a hand on each of their shoulders. Her Byakugan was active as she had felt the effects of a Jinjutsu being cast. Naru-kun, trade out with me. If she is using a flute to cast Jinjutsu, then she can't deal with up-close attacks. I'm an ideal opponent for her. Anko-sensei, back me up. Hinata planned out quickly. No, the bitch has to answer some question I have. You back me up? Anko told the Hyuga. But I think Hinata started. That's an order, Genin. Anko ordered the Hyuga. TCH, fine. I'll provide support. Hinata responded, not happy at the order. Naruto looked over and saw that Shino was having some difficulty fighting the armed chunin. Just as a giant shuriken was about to pierce Shino's back, Naruto blocked it with his bracers. The shuriken cut into the bracers, the tips on the weapon started breaking. What? How are you destroying my weapons? Mizuki asked, pulling the damaged giant shuriken back with the ninja wire he had attached to it. Beat us and you'll find out. Shino, which tactic should we use? Naruto asked the bug user. Gamma Echo, that one should do nicely. Shino told the blonde. Are you sure? Gamma Echo is hard on my chakra right now. Naruto reminded the Aburum. I know, I just need to get a few of my insects on him. Shino informed him. Gamma Echo it is. Just give me a second, you know I gotta get ready. Naruto told him and started to channel chakra. Shino rushed the chunin, slashing with a kunai and dodging the giant shuriken that was now being wielded in the rogue shinobi's hands. After about a half a minute of going back and forth with the chunin, Shino jumped up into the air. Mizuki stared at a tornado that was spinning towards him. He held up his giant shuriken, blocking most of the wind. The tornado pushed him back into a tree and started to compress him into it. Suddenly, as if a balloon had deflated, the wind suddenly stopped. Bringing his shuriken down, he saw that Naruto was panting with shortness of breath. Pulling the giant shuriken back, Mizuki started to throw the weapon. Shino suddenly appeared in front of the chunin. Mizuki switched targets, slicing into the Aburum. The shinobi suddenly burst into thousands of insects, which covered the Ryu Shunin. A few seconds later the bugs swarmed back to their user. Now we can get out of here. Shino grabbed the scroll and start heading back. I'll tie up the team here, then I'll get Anko and Hinata. Naruto told his teammate, pulling out ninja wire and a chakra sealing tag. Shino nodded, retrieved the scroll and went a ways from the battlefield. With Anko and Hinata, after the trade out. Anko rushed the redhead, striking at her face. The woman dodged the blows, trying to bring her flute up. Anko produced a kunai, catching the flute as it came to the user's lips. Pulling back, the snake mistress relieved the woman of her weapon. Now you have to fight in close combat, cunt. Anko told the redhead. That's fine, I'm the second best out of my group. 4 of the best in the village made by your former master. The woman informed her. We'll see after you fight us. A voice to the side told her. The woman dodged her head back as a strike came into view, flipping back. As the redhead flipped, she struck out with her feet catching Hinata on the side of her jaw. Causing the Hyuga to spin away. Anko struck at the woman as she came out of her flip just before she stabilized herself. Being caught off guard, the shinobi rolled as she fell back, lessening the damage. It still hurt though, the strike already starting to bruise. Fuck, I need to get the hell out of here. The woman told herself, she then started to head towards the river. Dragon Slayer arts. Dragon Flare, a voice called out, suddenly she was blinded by a bright flash of light. The woman started cursing, trying to rub her eyes to get the spots out of them. Suddenly, the woman couldn't move anymore. Falling forward, her face rushed to the ground. Right as the tip of her nose touched the ground she stopped. Now Hinaheim, just cause she got a lucky hit doesn't mean you should let her fall on her nose. A voice told the Hyuga. Well, it hurt. Hinata pouted to the voice. We'll take her back to Kohenagakur. Anko commanded the voice. Hi. I already put a chakra sealant on her. The voice told Anko. Suddenly she was turned to face a set of deep blue eyes and a soft smile. Above the blue eyes was a mess of light blonde mixed with a steely gray. 3 whisker marks adorned the cheeks on either side of the eyes and smile. The woman bulked, averting her eyes slightly. Might I ask your name? The whiskered individual asked. The woman retorted. Okay, gag it is. The individual told her as he produced a white cloth out of his scroll. The scroll was labeled capture and torture tools. He then gagged her with the cloth. The woman shocked a little upon seeing the label on the scroll. Noticing he turned a shade whiter than what she had been a moment ago, looked at the label. Ah, don't worry. I'm not gonna torture you. I don't hurt women. My Heims on the other hand, that's their own story. Now up we go. The boy told the red-headed woman as he pulled her up into a bridal style. Anko, we need to hurry. She might have backup nearby. Let's get back to the village. The boy suggested to Anko. Hi. Let's get out of here. Anko ordered. I smell snakes, Naruto thought to his family. Yep, it's coming from her strongly. It is also coming from about 5 kilometers north of here. Igneel informed his Nai-san. Naruto nodded to himself, keeping the information till they were in safer territory. Teammates started back the way they came. Anko and Naruto in front with the prisoners, Hinata behind them watching with her Byakugan, with Shino behind her leaving his insects here and there. The redhead just watched the blonde's face as he jumped through the trees. She had never seen someone so determined, yet at the same time so comforting. The last time she saw a look like that, the leader of her village had come to her home and took her away from her mother. They had been having dinner, her and her sister were laughing at a joke their mother had just told them. Then suddenly their world had been turned upside down. Shaking her head of the memory, she started to focus on how to get out of the situation. Mentally slapping herself for not learning how to control her curse mark beforehand, rather wanting to prove her worth before gaining more strength. Now, she had been captured by a bunch of tree huggers and were being taken back to their village. She had told her leader that they needed to kill the traitor and just take the scroll. But no, the stupid fuck wanted another body in his fuck-jobbed army. Soon she felt the enemy shinobi start to slow. Finally they landed in a clearing about 2 hours away from where they had first started. Shino, set traps and fan your insects out. Naruto, get some food. No fires, we are still on a mission and not out of danger just yet. Berries and jerky should do fine. There is a stream nearby, Hinata fill the canteens. After that help me with dumpster mouth here. Anko distributed orders out. Her team nodded and went to their tasks. Now, I'm going to remove your gag. If you even think of doing anything other than answering my questions, I will cut out your tongue and eat it in front of you. Do I make myself clear? Anko asked the woman. The redhead just cocked an eyebrow, the look said really, that all you got? Or I could have Naruto come back here and talk to you. He is very influential. I mean the way he looks at you with those ocean blue eyes and that smart elect grin that knows everything. I know you know what I'm talking about, that look you gave him earlier. Before you saw his tools. Anko commented. She didn't tell the woman that she had also seen the looks that she had given the blonde while they had been traveling. Fuck you, the woman said through the gag. Okay, Naruto. Trade me, I'll go check on Hinata. Can you make some of that delicious berry salad while you watch Dumpster Mouth? Anko told the blonde as he was coming back with some wild berries. Naruto shrugged and pulled out a scroll that was labeled vegetables. He then opened it till he found shredded lettuce. He then unsealed a medium bag of lettuce and a bowl. He poured the lettuce in and mixed in the berries that he had picked. Finally, he rolled the scroll until he found salad dressings, fruit mixed. He then unsealed a bottle of sour elderberry vinaigrette and poured it over the mixed salad. Finally, he unsealed 5 sets of plates and eating utensils. Is that the new elderberry sauce? Shino asked as he had just finished setting up the traps around the makeshift camp. Yeah, no better time than the present. Right, Hinata? Naruto asked to the Hyuga, who just appeared with Anko. Oh yeah. Sorry, I was thinking of something. Hinata apologized to the blonde. Sniff, sniff. Anko, you didn't, Naruto asked, cocking an eyebrow. Yes. MHHMMM. Maybe, the 14s answered. She might have accidentally seen me doing something else. Anko then countered. Shino remained stoic other than to raise his left eyebrow. Naruto shook his head and started dishing up the plates. Anko and Hinata moved the Odo Shinobi to sit between Naruto and Hinata. Looking at plate of delicious greens and berries, it looked much better than what she had 2 days ago for dinner. Which had been a small piece of meat and slightly moldy bread. I'll make a deal with you. For every bite you have to answer one question. If you answer with no cussing you'll get 2 bites, if you do cuss, then you go back to 1 or none. Deal? Naruto asked, holding the spare plate up. The woman nodded, watching the salad set on the ground. Naruto reached over and removed the gag. First question, who are you? Naruto started. Hey, the woman told them, receiving a bite of the salad. The sweetness of the wild berries mixing with the sourness of the elderberry dressing turning the world in circles. Next question, why are you out here? Naruto asked the next question. I was supposed to escort that idiot over there to Odo. Taya told the blonde, getting 2 bites for being good to her world and not cussing. What's the mark on your neck? Naruto asked, not even noting the surprise from the redhead. I don't know what you're talking about, Taya told the whiskered teen. Naruto put down the plate and started to put the gag back in her mouth. Wait, it's a curse seal that was put on me by the leader of my village. Taya told them, her portion returning to 1 bite. Anko had flinched at hearing what Taya had said and reached up to her neck. This did not go unnoticed by her team. Naruto looked at Anko with a cocked eyebrow. Ibihime, you want to tell us something? Naruto asked, noticing Anko's far-off look as if remembering something. He had finished feeding Taya and cleaning off his own plate. Oh no. It's nothing important. Anko replied, forcing herself to keep her hands in her lap. Anyways, I'll take watch. We'll be leaving in 4 hours. Teammate nodded, seeing as the battle had worn them out. The speed in which they had tracked the Rouge Shinobi and now the extra weight of the quarry +1 was taxing them. Naruto laid his head back onto the soft grass, his eyes started to slowly close as due to the exhaust of his first mission outside the village. Hinata cuddled up next to him, feeling his warmth against the cool night. Shino set his back against a tree, dozing gently as his insects came in and gave him a report every 5 minutes. Ai looked at the blonde as the blue tea snuggled against him, then turned to look at the snake mistress. She then voiced a question that had been in her mind since they had stopped. So, are you fucking the blondie? Taya asked bluntly. Unfortunately no. Not yet anyways. Hinata has claimed the first for everything. That includes popping his cherry. Anko told the redhead. Interesting. Why are you sharing, don't you bitches get jealous of each other? Taya inquired, wanting to see what made these tree fuckers tick. Actually no, due to our love for Naruto being stronger than our jealousy against each other. Anko told the woman. Plus, with how much he has to endure in his life. He need to be allowed to have happiness with the ones he loves. Wow, that's deep for a stupid ass tree fucker. Taya commented. I'll take the compliment behind those words. Anko told the woman. Now get some sleep, you'll need it before you get back to Kohenagakure. The prison cells are not as nice as outside is. Anko informed the woman. Naruto's mind. Sitting down in the middle of the plateau, he looked at the scroll in his hand. While they had taken a short break, he had placed a button of Skiadrum on the forbidden scroll. The shadow dragon had slipped in between the rolls on the scroll and was now currently copying as much as he could to Naruto's mentality. Page Bushin, a rank jutsu, allows the user to make single to mutable copies of themselves that have chakra and are solid. These copies can be used for spying and information gathering. As when dispelled they will return the memories to the original. Naruto read off to the others. I remember Kushina being able to make dozens of those to confuse her opponents and find weaknesses. Kyuubi reminisced. That sounds worth investing some time in. Igneel commented. It does sound useful, and if you mixed our energies in with them. This might be the answer to our problem, at least a temporary solution. Grandine stated. If we take this and figure out a way to combine it with a Haki no Fuin Shiki, we might be able to allow you guys to have a more permanent body. Naruto informed them. An interesting idea, we could have solid bodies yet still be part of your essence. Metallicon amused. It'll take a few years, but if I can get the cage bushin down. Then we could figure it out in months. Naruto told his companions. It'll take time, but soon I can be surrounded by my family. Ito Tensei, who would want to bring back a lifeless shell whose will is bent to the summoner's own? Was Loja asked in a disgusted tone. I don't know, but that one can be put away in the back. We can probably find a way to counter it. Naruto explained before turning back to the scroll which had numerous jutsus on it already. Looking over he saw several that interested him: Hachiman, Fury no Kami, Sozo Saisei, and Rasengan. Naruto started reading. 4 hours later. Naruto rolled over and came face to face with an ample-sized chest. Looking up he saw that the chest belonged to Taiya. The red-headed fell asleep a few hours ago next to a tree, but over the hours she had tossed and turned, somehow maneuvering her way to his side. Anko sat in silent laughter at her blonde squad member being stuck between the two kunoichi as he had slept. Naruto glared at the snake mistress. You could have done something. And miss seeing your priceless face when you woke up. Nah, I don't think so. Anko replied laughing. Naruto gently removed himself from between the two women. They snuggled closer together, the sudden absence of warmth making them seek out the closest heat source. Naruto pinched his nose so he did not have a massive nosebleed all over his shirt. Shino looked on away from the situation, though there was a small bit of blood coming from his nose. Naruto-san, you seem to get in the most peculiar situations. Shino informed the blonde. Now you think? Naruto retorted. Do you want to wake them? Or should one of us do it? Anko asked, looking at the two snuggled women. Shino and Naruto looked at each other, then looked over at the still unconscious Mizuki. They then looked back at each other with a sadistic smile. But Hinata and Taiya. The two women were unaware of Thire's situation until a sudden force was felt upon them. Both women awoke and hit the force with attacks. Hinata striking out with a Juken strike and Taiya with a headbutt. Sitting up they saw a battered Mizuki laying in front of them and 3 Kohenagakur shinobi laughing hard. Naruto, sweetheart, did you throw an unconscious Ryu shinobi on me while I was sleeping? Hinata asked, her aura seeping into a demonic-looking figure behind her. Suddenly Anko placed a hand on her shoulder. If you knock him out, one of us will have to take the extra weight. Anko explained to the pissed kunoichi. I'd do it to the prick sucker if I wasn't like this. Tei informed the two women, glaring daggers at the blonde. Oh come on guys, lighten up. It's not like the team is gonna turn into a weird hybrid tiger human. Naruto told the two female teens. Where the hell did you get an idea like that? The two asked. Anyways, let's finish this up. I would like to have a nice shower tonight. Anko informed her team. Yeah, I want some beef ramen. Tons of beef. Naruto drooled, the dragon's love of meat showing a little. My insects need to be replenished. Shino stated. I have a new baking recipe I want to try. Hinata informed the group. Do we get to be guinea pigs? Anko asked, cocking an eyebrow. My father will not allow me to test the recipes on the family members anymore. Anko, you should know that if I don't like it, I won't make it for anyone else. Hinata explained to the snake woman. Nodding, Anko grabbed Mizuki. She threw him over her shoulder, the woman then turned to her team. Naruto was holding Taiya in a bridal-style hold, Hinata had the scroll on her back, Shino had just finished collecting his traps. An hour later, Land of Fire, 50 kilometers from Kohenagakur. The team had been making good time even with the extra weight. Suddenly Naruto flinched as something entered his range of hearing. Dodging to the left, a golden-colored kunai lodged into the tree where his head had just been. Ambush! Naruto yelled, dodging numerous kunai that had been released. TCH, I told you we're too early. A gravely voice called out. And how would you have known? You have poorer aim than I do, plus I wanted to see if he could come up to my level. Another voice replied. Stop it, both of you. Before I kill you. A new stern monotone voice told the two. The group of 4 shinobi appeared, they had the same outfit on that Taiya had on, only slightly different for each one. There was a large teen with a triple orange mohawk, sporting a sleeveless brown tunic and his brown bottoms ended right below his knees. A large grayish-purple rope-like belt could be seen around his waist, the bow inverted at the back. The second teen was a thin tan man with multiple arms, a grey sleeveless tunic with a black sleeveless shirt and black shorts under it. A purple rope-like belt around his waist, the inverted bow in the back. His hair was pulled back into a rough ponytail, a Hokage protector on his forehead. The next teen was a bluish grey-haired, with some type of growth coming from the back. The teen had on greenish lipstick and light mascara around the eyes. The teen also sported a prayer bead-type necklace. The grey-haired person's attire consisted of a brown tunic with a black shirt under it, black arm warmers, and black shorts. The legs were covered in bandages, and finally a giant scroll was being carried behind the back through the loop of the rope-like belt. The final teen was a pale thinly tall teen, with shoulder-length white hair that was zigzag parting in the middle and pulled into two ponytails on either side of his head. He had two scarlet dots on either side of his forehead. His attire consisted of a loose light lavender shirt that zipped up and had long sleeves. His bottoms were black pants that were cut off at mid-calf, a purple rope belt tied around his waist with an inverted bow in the back. "What are you fuckers doing here? Aren't you supposed to be at the fucking village?" Taya asked in a surprised tone. "Leader Sama had us follow after you and make sure you were to arrive back on time. You have not, so we came to fetch you," the white-haired teen informed Taya. "It wasn't my fault, I got captured by the tree fuckers," Taya explained, shaking her head at teammate. "Sensei, what do we do now? We can't fight them like this, and the village is too far away to make a retreat," Hinata asked, noting the situation they were in. "We are gonna have to retreat, it's all we can do really. We are just unlucky, they had caught us on the way back to the village," Anko informed her team. Naruto set Taya down on the limb, leaning her back against a tree. He then stood and started cracking his neck. "You guys head on. I want to try something out," Naruto informed his team. Hinata appeared next to him, placing Taya on her back. "Naru-kun, if you don't come back, I'll hunt you down, kill you, then bring you back to life and kiss you hard," Hinata told the blonde in a sweet tone, a dark aura around the girl. "That goes double for me," Anko told him. "Hi, Naruto answered, before cracking his knuckles and doing a few hand signs. "Move now. Dragon Slayer arts. Dragon Wind drill," Naruto ordered as he blew a tight inverted funnel at the four teens. Three of the teens quickly moved out of the way. The white-haired teen stood still as the drill-like funnel hit next to him, destroying part of the branch the group had been standing on. "Interesting," the boy said in the same calm monotone voice. "I shall be your opponent. Actually, I wanted to take all of you on at once. I guess the others are a bunch of pussies that couldn't beat a fly away," Naruto goaded the group of teens. "If that is what you wish, then it shall be. Try not to die too quickly on us," the white-haired boy told Naruto. Naruto's enhanced hearing caught the hissing sound of something being thrown. Dodging, he reached out and grabbing a white hardened arrow. Bringing the projectile up, he studied it slightly before throwing it back the way it came. The multi-limbed teen moved his head slightly, the arrow plunging into the tree where his head had just been. Shocked that the teen had not only caught his arrow, but also thrown it back with almost pinpoint accuracy. "TCH, damn it. He might be more fun than I thought at the beginning," the multi-limbed teen spoke out loud. Starting to chew on something. Naruto didn't have a chance to retaliate as the huge teen appeared in front of him. The teen thrust his hand forward, hitting Naruto in the chest. Naruto flew through the air and slamming into the trunk of a tree. "Ouch, that hurt a little, you punk," Naruto told the large teen. You're alive. I hit you with enough force to break one of these trees," the teen told him. "I guess I'm just lucky," Naruto said, smiling at the teen. "So, who's next?" Naruto asked, balling his hands into fists. His eyes starting to turn into slits and his eyes turning a golden red color. His blood had started pumping hard, his breath coming in short. A roar started to thunder in the back of his mind, the call started rising into a torrent. "Dragon Slayer art, Metal Storm," Naruto yelled, metal shrapnel started spinning around the blonde, pushing outward. "Shit," was all the big teen could say before receiving cuts and nicks from the metal-infused tornado. The teen had crossed his arms in front of his face, blocking most of the debris from hitting his face. Lowering his arms, the teen looked behind him, the trees looked as if they had been thrown through a stripper that had been left on too long. It almost looked like a string cheese stick, half strung. "He's almost at our level," the multi-armed teen spoke out. "I want to eat him, he seems like a tasty meal," the big teen told the multi-armed teen. "Hirobo, you always are hungry. Kidomaru, we don't have time to play," the white-haired teen told his teammates. "Wait a minute. Fat, weird, pale. Where's the hunchback?" Naruto asked, looking at his opponents. He was short on breath, he felt his chakra being drained from the high-ranked jutsu. "Oh, Seiken. He went after your team, guess one of us got away," the white teen informed him, coughing slightly. "Well. I'm just the motherfucking decoy," Naruto told the three before throwing two balls of light up into the branches. Dragon Slayer Art, Dual Dragon Flare. Naruto called out as both lights exploded, blinding the teens. In the moments that it took to clear the teens to clear their vision, Naruto had already shot off in pursuit of the other teen. What do we do now, Kimimaro? Jirobo asked, looking at the white-haired teen. If we pursue them, we have the chance of being caught. We must cut our losses. Let us head back to Orochimaru-sama and inform him of what has occurred. Kimimaro told the two teens that were left. Nodding at the truth, the three teens retreated, leaving to inform Orochimaru of the events that had transpired and to plan their next move towards Kohenagakure. With Team 8, 30 kilometers from Kohenagakure. Shit, can this guy get any more annoying? Anko asked, having dodged another strike that had broke the limb she had been on. The fucker could get more fucking annoying. Taiya commented to Anko. Bitch, either shut up or fucking give some useful information. Anko told the teen. Okay. Hey Seiken, you dumb fucker. Hurry up and get me out of here. Taiya told the teen. Taiya, I might want to kill you. After I take out this trash. Seiken informed the redhead. Taiya visibly flinching at what the teen had told her. She knew that the teen wanted to prove that they were stronger than anybody else. The only person so far to beat them was the group's current leader Kimimaro. Shino, Hinata. Head to the village and send reinforcements, I'll hold this one off. Anko informed them, pulling out two kunai and getting set into an advance Hebe form. Well, one of the trash wants to play. Sorry, we don't have time. We are on a strict schedule. Seiken informed the snake mistress. You'll just have to reschedule then. 'Cause I'm gonna make you an appointment right now. Anko retorted at the teen. Seiken scoffed lightly, rushing into the snake jonin's personal space. The teen brought both hands up and slammed them down towards the woman's head. Being forcibly stopped short before Anko's head, a sudden pain sprouted from the teen's arms. Fuck, damn bitch stuck us. Seiken spoke out, two more arms appeared pulling the kunai out of the teen's arms. Are we gonna have to switch, you know I was sleeping. A different voice sounded from the teen. Do you have like a split personality or something? Anko asked the teen. Huh, oh the woman is asking about you. Seiken told the voice, suddenly the growth on the teen's back moved to the shoulder. She is? Well, we better not keep her waiting. The growth spoke again, starting to pull itself off and into a humanoid form. Just what are you? Anko asked a teen and humanoid figure in a bewildered tone. We are fraternal twins. Meet Yukin, my older brother. Seiken introduced the humanoid figure. This is Seiken, my younger sister. Yukin introduced in turn. Holy shit, so if you're a girl and your brother rests inside you. Does that mean you are like a what's the word? Anko asks, then dodges Seiken throwing a kunai at her. Ah, I remember, a hermaphrodite. The snake jonin asks the two, slamming her fist on her open palm. The siblings freeze, then looked at one another. Turning back to the jonin, the twins each sported a look of rage. Seiken having more of a blush mixed with the rage. You bitch. Yukin yells, punching at the snake mistress. Anko dodges expertly, the shockwave from the punch breaking a tree that was a few meters behind the jonin. Hey, it was a serious question. I mean, I know that if you put a normal male inside a female, said female will get pregnant. But if a male merges with a female, does that not make them a hermaphrodite? Anko teased the two Otagakure shinobi. No, we do not form a hermaphrodite when we rest in the other. Seiken informed the Kohenagakure shinobi. Oh, that's good. 'Cause I was about to pull out so many jokes about you guys in the bathroom it wouldn't have even been funny. Anko retorted at the twins. We're gonna kill you, bitch. Yukin yelled, rushing forward slamming his fist into the jonin's stomach only to be caught by the woman. Hey big brother, save some for me. Seiken told her older brother. Appearing behind Anko, swinging her fist into the snake mistress's head. Suddenly Seiken's fist came into contact with a hard metal surface. Her fist came into contact with several pops and cracks. Yanking her hand back and making some distance to start recovering, did she notice that the surface was a metal-covered arm that connected to the teen that had stayed behind. Big brother, I need your help. The limb crippled my hand. Seiken informed Yukin. Dear sis, try and hurry. I'm not used to being the main body. Yukin told Seiken, allowing her to merge with him. What the hell is their problem? Naruto asked Anko. Well, to put it simply, one of them can merge with the other and apparently heal themselves. Anko explained to the newly arrived blonde. What? If one is a guy and the other is a girl, wouldn't that make them? Naruto started to ask. A hermaphrodite. I know, I asked the same question. Anko informed the blonde. Did they answer? Oh, Kami. I just thought of all the joke I could do right now. Naruto told the jonin. I was about to ask them about their bathroom habits but they attacked before I could. Anko replied. I wonder if when the chick has her period does the other feel it or what? Naruto asked the twins. Fuck you. Seiken, we have wasted too much time here. The others probably have retreated, let's get the fuck out of here and get back to the village. Yukin told his sister. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let me sleep for a bit, then I'll take back over. Seiken replied drowsily to her brother. Yukin nodded at his sister, then fleeing the way Naruto had came. Naruto started to go after them. Only to be stopped by Anko, who had grabbed his shoulder. Our mission is the retrieval of the Forbidden Scroll in Mizuki. It's a bonus that we got the Odo Shinobi. Anko explained to the battle-ready blonde. The calling was pushing him to rush after the fleeing enemy. To fight them till only one was left standing. That push is what had forced the dragon slayers of all to grow in strength quickly. Naruto was a shinobi of Kohinagakure though, he had a mission to complete. Shaking his head, Naruto pushed the calling down. He pushed it into the back of his mind, forcing himself to calm down. Anko was right, it would be a waste to chase them. The blonde might end up sustaining major or even life-threatening injuries. You win this time Hibihaim. Let's go home. Naruto told the snake Jonin. But that the two shinobi jumped into the foliage and raced home. Only slowing down when they saw the northern gate to the village. Anko Mitarashi, Jonin-sensei of Team 8. Anko announced to the gate guards. Naruto Uzumaki, Genin student of Team 8. Naruto also informed the gate guards. Both guards looked up, checking their shinobi identities real quick. Glad you guys made it back, the rest of your team is over at it with a traitor and prisoner. We were about to send a squad of Anbu out to retrieve you. One of the guards informed the shinobi. Thanks, can you tell the two other genin to meet us at the Hokage's office? So we can be debriefed. Anko asks one of the guards, who nods and went over to short-range ham radio. Kohinagakure, this is the North Guard. Teammates Jonin-sensei and Spare Genin have returned. The Jonin-sensei wishes for the rest of the team to meet at the Hokage's office for debrief. Copy. The guard talks into the walkie. Copy, teammate is to report to the Hokage's office for debrief. Tell Anko that if she wants first crack at this Atagakure shinobi, she needs to move fast. The voice replied. She already left and judging by the dust cloud headed to the Hokage's office. You'll see her in about 15 to 20 minutes. The guard replied, looking at a long straight dust cloud that led to the Hokage's office. Hokage's office. Anko kicked the door open and threw Naruto into the office. The other members of Team 8 arriving just before their Jonin-sensei. Sorry for the late arrival. A hermaphrodite tried to assimilate us into themselves and we had to fight back. Anko announced to the room. What? Sarutobi asked. Oh, sorry too far ahead. Let's start at the beginning. Anko said blinking slightly, then started to go over the mission report. Ah, now I understand. Sarutobi said, sitting back in his chair. He carefully lit his pipe, the smell of a sweet smoke lifted into the air and swirled around the room. So this female Atagakure shinobi is part of this group that is supposedly the strongest shinobi in that village. Due to her being late back from her assignment, they sent the rest of her group out after her. Who you engaged and then retreated from to complete the mission assigned to you. Sarutobi summarized. Hi Hokage-sama. Judging how the shinobi that engaged me, their strength and techniques were on par with my own. I judged that they would be high chunin to high jonin. Anko commented to the Hokage. Sarutobi nodded, then closed his eyes in thought for a moment. Then grabbing a pen and the mission scroll, Sarutobi made some extra marks before stamping it with his seal. I have upgraded the mission from a C rank to an A rank due to the effect of this group of Atagakure shinobi's strength. Sarutobi informed Team 8, handing the scroll back to Anko to turn in. But that'll give Team 8 a 48-hour leave. I'll see you in 2 days at the mission hall. Dismissed. Sarutobi told the group. Hi, Hokage-sama. The team voiced, bowing before leaving. I wonder what you are up to Orochimaru. Sigh, I'm getting too old for this. Sarutobi told no one in particular. With Team 8. Okay guys, the Hokage has given us a 48-hour leave. I'll let you guys rest or do whatever you kids do these days. I've got a date with an Odo shinobi that requires a candlelights and soft music. Naruto, take care of this for me would ya? Anko told the team before rushing off towards the department. Throwing the signed mission scroll to Naruto, who started to walk off toward the mission hall with the rest of his team. Let's get this put away then take off guys. Naruto commented to his team, who nodded in return. As they were heading into the mission hall, Team 7 was heading out of the hall. The two teams almost bumped into one another. Hey Naruto, are you going to be coming over tonight? Mom wants to know if you want fried chicken or pot stickers. Sasuke asked the blonde. Yeah, I'll head over there after we turn this in and get changed into some clean clothes. I'll take some pot stickers. Hinata, would you like to join us? Naruto asked the dark-haired girl. I think my father wants to talk to me about something. I'll have to pass this time. Hinata informed the blonde. And what important D-rank mission did you have that you were missing for an entire day? Kakashi asked the teens. That is privileged information. If you wish to know more, then you'll have to ask Anko-sensei. Shino told the cycloptic jonin. Kakashi said, pulling his orange book back up to his face. We'll see you later. Naruto told Team 7 as his team headed into the mission hall. Pave of ceiling, lightning country. The click and hiss were all that was heard from back room. The woman that had been the second to be unsealed walked to the back, hoping the coffin that held her adopted daughter had opened. Looking in, she saw that the blank black coffin is the one that was opening. The young man dressed in a high-collared red and tan robes with gold trim stepped out. A large white toga was draped from his left shoulder down to his right hip. His black hair was cut to the nape of his neck and flowed slightly over his ears. The bangs on the front parted in two parts so that his eyes could look out onto the world. His final setting was he had a pendant around his neck, what was in it only the wearer knew. Good morning. Is it time already? The man asked the woman. Yes, it is, my lord. What are your wishes? The woman asked the robed man. I've told you many times, Altier, not to call me lord or sama or any honorifics. It is too many years late for me to have earned respect. We are here to serve justice among those who wish ill upon this new world. The dark-haired man informed her. I'm sorry, L Zaref. Where shall we start? Altier asked Zaref. I sense several powerful energies coming from the west. It also seems to be tainted with great evil, as if a demon from hell itself has been produced. Zaref informed her. Send Zancro. Have Eric find us a proper area to set up a base. It will be done, Lord Zaref. Altier told the dark-haired man, bowing. Lord Zaref, when will my daughter become unsealed? Altier asking the man, worried about the only member of the group that matters to her. She will be along any day now. Now, where is our host? Zaref informed Altier, asking for the man as he walked out the door. Altier stood before stepping up to the coffin engraved with a heart on it. She gingerly touched the lid, kissing it gently. She then turned and walked out of the room to relay the orders to the Flaming God Slayer and the Pisianus Dragon Slayer. The 13 unopened coffins laying in waiting to be awoken to the new world. Southern border in the land of fire, cavern. An unexplored cavern shut off from the rest of the world suddenly flashed in a dazzling light that then deposited several characters into its darkness. Damn it, that hurt. Is everyone here? A male voice asked. I think so, where are we? A feminine voice replied. Lucy, I think we did it. Lucy? A pink-haired man asked, looking around. I don't think she made it, Natsu. The female voice told the pink-haired man. We knew what would happen if she sent us forward. I just never thought, the man said, leaving the ending hanging. Natsu, let's not hold on to what could have been. We need to get out of here and gather our bearings. An older man told Natsu, who in return nodded. I wonder if the world has completely forgotten us. Natsu told the group as they started to look for an exit to the cavern. Dragon Slayer Arts. Air Drill, a C-rank jutsu that forms a cone of air that can pierce any object or person. Dragon Slayer Arts. Metal Storm, a C-rank jutsu that combines both the metal and wind attributes and causes multiple cuts from the metal tornado. Surprise. Oh no, Natsu and some fairy tale members have been sent into the future. As the mission was to retrieve the Forbidden Scroll and capture Mizuki, they only had to escape, there was no need to fight. The meeting of the past and present. The 2 days of leave for Team 8 had been welcoming. Yet the leave had also ended too quickly for them. They now stood in front of the Hokage again, waiting for their next mission. We've received rumors of large tremors in the southern area of the Land of Fire. We want you to go down and see what is making these. If it is beast-like, stop it or incapacitate it. If it is a humanoid, try to reason with it or capture it. The aged man assigned them. Hi Hokage-sama. The team replied. Okay guys, pack for 1 week. Anko told her team, we'll be leaving in a half hour. I wonder what's going to be waiting for us. Naruto asked his team. I don't know, but we must be prepared for anything. Shino confirmed what his teammates had been thinking. Naruto went to the shinobi tailor that had made all his outfits. Walking in, it didn't seem like a tailor's shop. The interior seemed more like an outlet clothing store for shinobi. Second-hand pieces and discount racks hung all over the place. The blonde walked up to the counter and rung the bell twice. An elderly man came from the back, looking up to the young shinobi. He smiled broadly as he approached the boy. Suddenly the man started to move his hands. To anyone else it would look like he was flapping his hands around and touching his face as if he was having a seizure. It had took Naruto years to realize the man was actually talking to him. Ah, Master Naruto. You have come for your gauntlets, the repairs went nicely. I am ashamed that you let the gauntlets get damaged like that, the man said with his hands. I am deeply sorry, Chinmoku. I had to use my special gift to keep them from getting totally destroyed. You do know what happens in our line of business. Naruto informed the man. I am aware of your line of work. I mended the gauntlets and reinforced the leather with a metal plating. I also added a lining of sealing arrays. You can place anything from kunai to a person into those seals. Chinmoku informed him. What about our special product? Naruto asked him, looking around to if anyone non-important around. Ah, the special product. The only problem with that is the materials are almost legendary. Do you know how hard it is to find that object, even if the object is found? The price to obtain it is almost as hard as finding it. The elderly tailor told him. But I am close to finding it. I would like to be informed when you do find it. As I am the only one in the world that can obtain it without paying the ultimate price. Naruto informed the elder. Hi. I will inform you ASAP, Master Naruto. Now, do you require anything else? The man asked through his hands. Just the price for the repairs and upgrades on the gauntlets. Naruto told him, holding up a wallet that looked like a fox with dragon scales starting around midway. I've told you when we find that object, you'll have been paid in full. Now, run along. The man told him. Okay, thanks. Naruto told the man as he grabbed the improved gauntlets and head to the door. South Gate, 10 minutes prior to departure. Naruto arrived just as Hinata and Shino were lighting onto the ground just inside the gate. The hyperactive blonde checked his scrolls and his armor for what seemed to be the 15th time since they all arrived at the gate. Naruto-san, no offense. Could you please stop messing with your equipment? Shino exclaimed. Wow Shino, all you had to do was say please. Naruto retorted, setting his armor back to the original setting that he had it set to. Naruto, are you okay? Hinata asked perturbedly. Her fingers poking slightly together, the blonde's energy causing the team to sense an air of foreboding. I don't know, it's this aura that is coming from the south. It's as if I know it. Naruto explained, visibly trying to relax. He took a deep breath and centered himself. I'll try to keep this feeling to a minimum. I'll try not to let it get too close to the heart. Naruto confirmed with his team. Anko suddenly approached as Naruto cut his intent down to a lower level. She noticed that her team was on edge from the blonde's aura leaking on a subconscious level. Okay guy, I've got a week's worth of dango. A large supply of kunai thanks to Naruto making those new storage seals for me. Anko informed her team. No offense sensei, but don't you think that consuming that much sugar is good for you in the long run? Shino asked curiously. Anko struck a thinking pose for what seemed a half second. Nah, not unless they put me teaching the academy or some boring job like being the Hokage's secretary. Anko replied, now, are we ready to begin the mission? Hi, sensei. Teammates sounded off as they turned to the gate. Okay team, let's move out. I want to be halfway to the destination in a day. So we'll be moving quick and high-paced. The snake mistress told her team. Let's get going, you talk too much. Naruto informed the purple-haired Jonin, causing the said Jonin's eyebrow to twitch ever so slightly. Damn it Naruto, if I didn't care about you so much. The Jonin let the sentence hanging as teammate departed for the southern destination. Unknowingly setting off to something that would change their perspective on the shinobi world as they knew it. 3 days later, southern part of the Land of Fire. Teammate approached the crevice slowly, ready for anything that might approach. Naruto had become anxious as they had approached the southern point of the Land of Fire. Naruto, are you sure that you don't want to be the supporting role for this? Hinata asked for the 5th time, she was worried for her blonde lover. He seemed to start changing as they had moved further and further toward the south. I told you I was fine the first day and the second day. I promise that I'm fine. Naruto confirmed with a large smile on his face. Okay, Naruto. Go check the crevice. Anko ordered the blonde. Hi. Naruto replied, placing his comm link around his neck. The blonde shinobi snuck up to the crevice, looking down he didn't notice anything. A slight tremor ran through the ground, shaking the genin slightly. Nothing at the edge, I'm heading down. Naruto spoke over his comm link. I see a massive energy down at the bottom, to the left side of the crevice. With each tremor, the tremor moves closer to the crevice. Hinata replied, to the right of Naruto. My insects tell me that it's something that they had never felt before. Shino also commented. Alright my little team of genin, let's go see what it is. Last one to the bottom has to buy lunch. Anko told them, then jumped off the edge of the crevice. Fuck, I ain't losing again. Last time, the moths vacated my wallet. Naruto commented, jumping after the insane Jonin. Hinata and Shino followed suit, running down the wall. Anko was about 10 meters from the bottom when a large chunk of the cliffside busted out. A dust cloud appeared around the opening. Quickly she slapped her comm link to inform her team about the danger. Cut the bed, something just busted out. Anko told them. Good, I was getting bored. Naruto replied, landing with his lightly on his feet due to the added effect of the Dragon Slayer art. We need to be cautious, they might be really strong. Shino commented, being the voice of semi-reason. I've been dying to try the new Jukin move on something. Please let there be a scuffle. Hinata chipped in. Suddenly a voice came from the cloud of dust, damn, can't see a thing. Who are you? Anko asked seriously towards the group that appeared out of the cloud. Pulling out two kunai into her hands readying for an attack. A few moments before teammate arrived. Ah. Why won't this wall bust? Natsu asked frustrated. Why can't we use our magic? It seems that this world doesn't contain an abundance of magical energy like ours did. Gagiel informed him, biting into a piece of iron. Well, we need to get out of here before we starve. I mean, the dragon slayers can eat their own elements for a limited time before they succumb to hunger. Wendy informed the group, panting slightly, plus I'm starting to lose the magical energy that I had stored up. You know what? I'm sick of being in this cave. You said that this was the weakest point. Natsu asked, pointing at the end of the tunnel. Yes, the air is freshest from there. Wendy commented, feeling the air just out of the group's reach. Time for an overcharge. Natsu told the group, cracking his knuckles. Duck. Gagiel asked. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Natsu replied as he cocked back his arms. Dragon Slayer art. Rampage mode, Natsu called out as he started slamming his fists into the wall. After a few seconds the wall started to shake violently. Almost there. Just one more push. Natsu yelled to the group as he hammered away. Suddenly the wall crumbled and exploded outward, creating a large dust cloud that covered the bottom of the ravine. Damn, can't see a fucking thing. Gagiel told the group, then suddenly he tensed. Sensing something just outside the dust cloud. Who are you? A voice rang out as the cloud started to settle. As the view cleared, the group noticed another group of 4 people, 3 teenagers and 1 adult, standing across from the hole in the wall. You'll get a name when you tell your name. Natsu informed the people. Suddenly the blonde-haired teen sniffed the air slightly, he then shot forward towards Natsu. Gagiel jumped in front of him, his hands turning into an iron limbs, Dragon Slayer art. Metal bombardment. He then started striking at the blonde, who to the metal dragon slayer's surprise, dodged every single strike. Still in the line of his target, who had yet to move. Wendy emerged from the tunnel to see a blonde teen bring his fist up with wind coating it. Shocked by this, she rushed in front of Natsu and drew in a large breath. Dragon Slayer art. Breath of the wind dragon, Wendy called out as she let forth a blast of air that hit the blonde dead on. The blonde just sliced through the wind as if it was nothing, reaching Natsu. Cocking his fist back, the teen slammed it forward. Natsu, drained of energy from using rampage mode, could do nothing but watch as what he thought was his own life end. The fist stopped a few inches from the salmon-colored hair teen, then suddenly a finger flick was received to said teen's head. Igneel Nai says you used too much energy. The blonde informed Natsu. How do you know, Tusan? Natsu asked, the pain not even registering as the blonde spoke. You can ask him yourself. Anko-sensei, they aren't our enemies. The teen told the adult. Are you sure, Naruto? I mean, they did attack you. The now called Anko told the blonde teen. I'm sure. Let me bring out my family. Naruto told the 2 groups. Naruto did a few hand seals, reverse summoning. Dragon's call. 5 smoke clouds appeared around him, silhouettes could be seen in the clouds. As the clouds drifted away, the silhouettes became more visible. Igneel, Grandine, Metallicana, Skiadrum, and finally Wisloja could be seen in their Drake forms. I had wished you could have summoned us in our human forms. Igneel told the blonde. I'm trying, okay. I thought you might want to see your children. Naruto informed the 5 dragons, pointing to the group. Tusan? Is that really you? I thought you had died. Natsu asked Igneel, walking up to the fire drake. Igneel looked at his adopted son, then stood on his hunches and stretched his neck till he was slightly taller than the dragon slayer. He then looked down at the teen with a scowling face. How many times have I told you not to use rampage mode on so little magic? Igneel asked the dragon slayer. I forgot. Natsu replied, chuckling slightly. Igneel wrapped his tail around Natsu and threw him into ravine wall. Are you stupid or something? Do you know how easily rampage mode can kill you, your friends, hell, even the world that you are residing in now? TCH, same old Tusan. Natsu replied from the wall, he then rushed forward with his fist cocked and covered in flames. As the fist approached the drake, a hand appeared and blocked it. Natsu followed the hand to the Naruto who just stood there. If you want to hurt Ignai, you'll have to duel me. Naruto told the salmon-colored dragon slayer. Natsu, I don't think that would be wise. As you don't have enough magical power left. I'll fight him instead. Gagiel spoke up, cracking his knuckles lightly. His body already starting to be covered in metal. How about this? A 2-on-2 match. We win, you guys come with us back to Konhinagakure. We lose, we leave you guys alone to do whatever you want. Anko compromised. That sounds fair. A tall man with auburn hair and artificial limbs told Anko. Gildert's Clive, I'm the head of this operations. We'll speak more after the match. Anko informed Gildert's before turning to her team. I need. Mo. I choose Hinata. Hinata stepped forward to stand next to Naruto, both of them smirked at one another. So Haim, which would you like? Naruto asked, bowing slightly. How good is your fire dragon skill? Hinata asked her boyfriend. Just starting with it. Since I have double affinity to fire, I have to be careful not to burn myself out. Naruto told her, doing some light stretching. Fine, I'll take Pinky, you can have Metalhead. Hinata told him, chuckling slightly at the two dragon slayers that were looking ticked off. Metalhead? I like her, she's got spunk. Gajeel commented, then suddenly felt a cold shiver run down his spine. Turning, he saw that Naruto had a huge smile on his face, the smile strained slightly, almost as if you were trying to be nice when you really want to punch someone in the face. My, you are friendly towards my girlfriend. Naruto commented as he set up his own body shield. His body slowly turning gray with color, his hair also turning a light gray and started to grow out a little more. Move. Anko said to the rest of the two groups. Why? Gildert's asked, looking confused. Last time someone flirted with Hinata, they ended up in the hospital twisted in a pretzel and had iron rods in his hands and feet attaching them together. That was 5 seconds after the guy slapped Hinata's ass. Anko explained as she jumped up about halfway up the ravine. Oh, guys. Gildert's motioned to the rest of the team. Wendy nodded and lifted them up to the ledge next to Anko. Shino, 500 on Naruto taking Metal Dude out in 30 seconds. Anko betted. Double for 1 minute. Shino replied, already counting the money out and setting it into a scroll. Anko did the same, just as a huge torrent of wind rushed past them. Hey, we haven't settled the bet yet. Anko yelled, only to stop mid-rant. As she saw Naruto and I am pissed, so fuck off mode. Never mind, Anko managed to squeak out. Why are you afraid of him? Gildert's asked her. Because he has 5 dragons and a Bijuu sealed in him. He can control around 2 tails of the Bijuu and has had extensive training in the dragon slaying arts. Anko explained to the person. Oh. Was all that the man said. Back with the dragon slayers and shinobi. Naruto cracked his knuckles loudly as he stood waiting for his opponent to make a move. Gajeel on the other hand was slightly nervous now after feeling that immense pressure being pushed to him. Well Haim, we shouldn't keep them waiting. Naruto told the Hyuga, grabbing her hand and swinging her around before launching her at Natsu. Natsu barely had to bring his arms up as a chakra-covered foot nailed his guard, pushing him back 100 feet. Hinata suddenly appeared again, striking down with a chakra-covered fist. The fist connected with his face, sending him into the wall of the ravine yet again. Damn, if I had Naruto's metal body that would have been much worse. Hinata told the pink-haired dragon slayer. My turn now. Natsu replied in turn, his arms and feet covering themselves in fire. He rushed forward, slamming his fist into the brunette's face. Hinata dodged the strike, curved her fingers into a half fist and hit the dragon slayer in his shoulder. Ah, the fuck was that? Natsu asked out loud, the sudden pain sprouting from his shoulder that had just been hit. Suddenly the fire on his arm started to burn him and spread up his arm. I can't control it. What did you do to me? Natsu asked, waving his arm around. Trying and failing to put out the raging wildfire on his arm. I forced your nerves to try and reconnect themselves while leaving your chakra points open. So basically you are burning yourself with your own power. Hinata explained as she settled into her improved Jukin style. Suddenly a gray being shot past her along with a lighter gray being following at high speeds. Geez, he's gonna burn out. Hinata spoke out loud before returning to her opponent. With Naruto and Gajeel. Hold still you poster boy for hot topic. I want to turn you into a metal slime, Naruto informed the metal dragon slayer. Thanks for telling me, now I ain't gonna stop moving. Gajeel retorted, jumping out of the way of one of Naruto's punches. The punch created a crater that Gajeel had been standing in front of. I told you to hold still. Naruto told him, a chakra starting to flow around him mixing with the wind and metal auras around him. What the hell are you? Gajeel asked as he threw pieces of metal at him. I am Naruto Uzumaki, the future dragon slayer Hokage of Kohenagakure. Naruto answered, the cloak starting to take on the features of a fox mixed with a dragon. And I will stomp you into a mud hole and drag your ass back out just to stomp it in again. We'll see about that. Gajeel told him, his arm turning into a sword. And the other into a shield. Bring it. Dragon Slayer form. Metal Knight. Let's play ball. Naruto replied, leaping forward at the metal-equipped slayer. He struck out with his hand in a clawed shape, slicing down at the sword. Gajeel brought the shield up blocking the clawed attack. Grunting slightly as the air slashed his shield. Jumping back he noticed that there were 4 claw marks on his shield arm. The fuck was that? Gajiel wondered as his shield regrew slowly, seeing that it lacked the swiftness that normally was present. The energy that you have versus the chakra and yaki I contain. Which do you think will win? Naruto asked, just so you know. Demonic yaki is poisonous to humans, and you might start feeling it right about now. Suddenly Gajiel fell to one knee, gasping slightly from the loss of breath and burning. He hasn't felt this since he got hit by Nasu and the lightning bastard's combined attack. You think this will keep me down? You are sorely mistaken. This just gets me pumped up. Gajiel told the blonde, standing up slowly. His breath still shallow and ragged. I might just have to try harder. Naruto told him in a slightly playful tone. Back with Hinata and Natsu. Hinata leapt back from the heat of the white-hot flames, she quickly shot out a water bullet. Putting out the flames around her, giving her time to breath. The heat had been so intense that she could hardly breath. Natsu smirked slightly, wow, a water mage. That's so cool. My best friend is an ice mage. Mage? I'm a shinobi, not a street performer. Hinata informed him. Shinobi? Aren't those like the special operations of the Grand Council? Natsu asked, slightly confused. We are having a Q&A in the middle of a fight. Let's get back to me kicking your ass. Hinata told him, disappearing from sight. Natsu barely put up a guard as Hinata appeared next to him kicking him at his neck to try and knock him out. Geez, give me a second to figure something out. Natsu told the woman, plus, being put against a woman is shameful. Hinata stopped her assault and cocked her head, fighting a woman is shameful. But the two groups. Oh shit. Anko stated, with a look of fear. What do you mean oh shit? Gilderts asked, looking slightly worried. Let's just say the last time someone said that fighting a woman was shameful or troublesome or anything negative. The person ended up in the hospital with numerous broken bones and torn muscles. Anko explained to the auburn-haired man. Oh shit. Gilderts replied. Exactly. Anko told him. But Naruto and Gajiel. A sudden pressure filled the ravine, the two dragon slayers turned towards the source. A black aura surrounded Hinata, as Natsu seemed to be unaffected. Do you have any prayers to say to your buddy? Naruto asked, as he knelt down and placed his hands on the ground. Not really, what's happening? Gajiel asked the blonde curiously. He pissed Hinata off. If you don't want to get hurt, I suggest helping me with this barrier. Naruto informed him. What do I have to do? Gajiel asked quickly, kneeling next to the blonde. We need to make a super strong metal construction around them. Naruto told the gray-haired teen. Okay. Gajiel replied, starting to force the iron in the ground to move and form into a dome box-like structure. Make it super dense. She'll just punch out of it otherwise. Naruto informed the metal dragon user. How? She can't be that strong. Can't she? Gajiel questioned. Dude, even if I was at my strongest. I wouldn't fuck with her. Naruto told him looking slightly scared. Fuck. That. Shit. Gajiel told him and densed the metal construction until only a super white almost clear flame could cut through it. Inside the construct were sounds of flesh hitting flesh and a few muffled screams that barely made it out. After a few minutes a large dent was made in the metal and another. Suddenly the metal had hundreds of dents until the first dent burst open to see a panting Hinata. Sweetheart? Hinata asked softly. Yes, Haim? Naruto replied, sweating slightly. Am I weak? Hinata asked to him. Not that I am aware of. Naruto told the Hyuga heiress. He thought I was. Hinata informed him, pouting slightly. And? Naruto asked. We might have to take him to a hospital. Hinata told him, looking back at the broken form of Natsu. That might be a good idea. Naruto commented. Back with the two groups. Now that's over, would you like to tell us who you are? Anko asked in a deadly tone. Yeah, we'll tell you everything. Gilderts replied quickly. Not wanting to even see what the inside of the construct looked like. A few hours later, around a campfire. You actually want me to believe that bullshit? Anko asked a group of now-named mages. You are a group of mages sent into the future to stop another group of mages that want to take over the world. And that this Pinky's brother is the leader of the group of evil mages. Yep, that's about it. Gilderts told the purple-haired shinobi. Well that's just fan-fucking-tastic. How the hell are we supposed to deal with that? Anko asked as she threw her hands up in frustration. First we need to speak with your leader and look at the history that has happened since we have left. So we get a better grasp at what happened and find out where they could be located. Gilderts explained, while I do that, I need someone to take care of these kiddos. Anko looked over at the two groups conversing with the other. The two groups seemed to be enjoying each other's company, the four dragon slayers the most as they talked about their pasts with each other. Let's just say, a lot of things were burned, pierced, and shredded before the night was done. Well, I guess we need to go back to Kohenagakur to inform the Hokage about this. Then we'll go from there. Anko told the destruction mage. That sounds fine. I'll inform my group that we'll cooperate with you till something happens. I mean, it's not like you are suddenly going to lock us up in chains and place a binding spell on us. Gildertz joked. Anko chuckled nervously, slight scratching her neck. Gildert's sweat dropped. You have some sort of restraint. Don't you? Anko pulled out a wad of chakra suppression tags from what Naruto has to us. You guys are just like an untrained shinobi. So we wanted to be safe with your handling. She explained. Ah, so these are supposed to suppress our energy until we can be trusted? Gildertz asked. Yep, that's the gist. Anko told him, handing the tags to him. Okay, that's fine. I'm actually surprised that these haven't broke down. Gildertz told her, picking up a rock. The rock turned into numerous cubes. That's cool. We need to rest so we can get back to the village ASAP. Anko told the mage. Yeah. Gildertz got up and went to inform his team of what was to happen. This is going to be a long 3 days back. Anko told herself. What if Naruto trained by igneel for chunin exams, and thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys next video.